The Earth is very flat.
What's going on, everybody? It is Friday, August 20th, 2021. This is Brandon, host of Brandon's Show. Hope everybody is having a good Friday or Saturday morning, depending on where you are in the world. What do we got going on today? It's Friday Night Fights. Friday Night Fights, limited moderation, of course. But we will try to keep the interrupting and over talking to a minimum. My computer just decided to update Adobe. What the hell? Anyway, let's see who we got in chat. We got Arwin, Askin Rizzi, PJ Cruikshank, Cleary, Page 42. What's up, Page? I did not find PMAR Socks, but I'm still looking for him. Sean Hawkins, Greg T, Rob Keane, Johnny Walker, and Askin Rizzi, Bill G, and Dan Morris. Bill G was first. Nice work, Bill G. PJ says sound is good. Thank you, sir. Is anyone going to prove flat Earth? Holy fuck, dude. Oh, Sean. Just give it up, man. You got a few good years left ahead of you. Get a different hobby. One that doesn't involve electronics, of course, and technology. Seen how that works out lately. Anyway, let's get right to it and see what's going on in Discord and get started.
It's strictly measuring.
No,
hang
you're
on,
missing the whole
Let me explain
point.
something to him. Digital data means we're going into our imagination and coming back with an answer that we like.
If that's your explanation, then I'm going to claim all rulers also do that. Or how about barometers? How about
do not do that. The moment you hook up something
dosimeters
into a computer, which has to spit out a heliocentric answer, everything works beautiful.
If you can point me to the circuit board and the specific chip that does this, I will concede 100%. Until then, it's just a sensor measuring deviations.
All right. Like I said, it's the Michelson-Morley experiment on steroids, but apparently Michelson-Morley experiment was considered completely wrong. Now it's perfectly okay as long as you fine tune it.
There's no difference between, or there is a huge difference in which there's no correlation between the ring laser gyro and then Michelson-Morley.
Oh my God, nothing? There's nothing?
Okay, I'm sorry. It uses light. It uses man-made objects. Excuse me for not being pedantic.
Split the light in two? Did both of them split the light in two?
Yes.
Okay. Did both of them try to bring the light back together?
Under the same distance of a path.
It doesn't matter how Michelson-Morley tried to split it and bring it back together. So does the ring laser gyro, right?
Right, but this is performed under vacuous conditions in which nothing else can interfere with it to the best of our ability, such as magnetic fields, temperature changes, and then also pressure. There are huge differences between the rudimentary Michelson-Morley experiment as well as ring laser gyros.
Michelson and Morley took their time to make sure that everything was measured out as close as possible before they let it rip. And they got back something that says not really moving. Not really moving, which means it's moving a little bit, which means the little bit of movement that you're going to say that Bob Nodell measured and goes, it's fucking moving. It is fucking a little bit.
Right. Do you understand the precision, or do you know what the precision value for the original Michelson-Morley was?
Not that well. If you want me to start racking numbers off, I'm not the guy. I just know the general overlay here, saying it's the exact same thing, only now it's hooked up to a computer which spits out heliocentric answers. Before that, it was just two guys, and Albert Einstein said, "You split light, whatever comes back is wrong."
Yeah, I don't think that he ever said that. But as far as Michelson-Morley, the precision of their instruments were not good enough if they were going to be testing for rotation. But they weren't making that attempt to measure that. They were making the attempt to measure ether, and then the only value that was measured is reducing every day with new experiments with higher precision.
All right, I'm not going to question whether or not Michelson-Morley was accurate enough. but I would simply like to show you this. Galileo came up with the right answers. So his absolutely crappy equipment that we could beat with 50 bucks at Walmart today, that was okay. Even though originally the sun was only 19 times the distance, but he got all the other answers right. And it doesn't matter if the sun and moon were wrong in his model. The man's a genius. And we're going to stop at that. We don't care how he did it with crappy equipment. We'll go further back. Some dipshit looked at some at some at some sticks in the ground and said, "Look, I'm going to calculate based on, you know,
If we're gonna change the subject, just say it out loud. Hey guys, we're gonna change the subject.
No. I actually want to go back to my original question.
Yeah, go ahead, Scott. We're into a
If
history
you-
lesson we don't
If
need.
you witness this, seeing Orion 8 months out of the year yourself, I really like to know what would that mean to you?
Oh, I would investigate from my latitude what I should expect to see based on both models, and then I would make a decision after that. Sure.
Then he'll go to
Okay.
a heliocentric priest
And
who
then-
will tell him not to
And
worry.
then my
about
question would be, how is Orion going below the horizon?
I didn't hear that. How is Orion what?
How is Orion going below the horizon?
Oh my gosh. I thought we already covered this. Because why do all stars, or not all, why do any star go down below the horizon? Because they move away from you. They move out of your sight, your limit.
Yeah, B-ball. They move out of line of sight because they move out of line of sight. Duh.
Well,
Yeah, it's
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I hate
I
to
didn't
interrupt the
understand the question.
conversation, but I just wanted to let you guys
okay,
know
Paul, you should be
that
smart
we're
enough,
live
right?
and
If we
unmuted.
have this, if we have an answer for why the sun appears to do what you say it does, it's going to be the same for the stars. First of all, the stars don't go below the horizon.
You
Okay.
can watch them go below the horizon.
No, you can't.
they go
You can
beyond.
only-
Yeah, you can.
Okay, listen very carefully. All you can see is them go beyond. You don't see them go below. It's not like watching something go under a bridge.
You literally see them go
Literally,
below the horizon.
no, you don't.
Yes,
they-
yes,
no,
you
you
do.
don't.
That's what star trails show.
Hey guys, let me just break in here for a minute. Then we can pick the conversation back up and say what's going on. Is Friday night fights. We are live on YouTube. We've got 38
Brandon.
people in the what's up? 38 people in the Discord. So please be mindful. Try not to talk over others. Try not to interrupt, even if you don't like what the other people are saying. Plenty of time for both sides to go back and forth. I'll do my best to moderate, and we'll go from there. Have a good back and forth on Friday night. So have at it. Floor's open panel, open topic. Let you guys pick up where you left off. Sounds like you were just about to get into Flat Earth 101 in the time machine back to 2015. You can go ahead and pick it up from there.
I just told facts that you can see Orion 8 months out of the year, and that would be completely impossible if
Question.
the Earth orbited the sun.
Okay,
That's
question.
false.
So when Orion goes away from us, how does it end up back behind me the next day?
How does the sun do that?
That's a great question.
Absolutely.
it's going
That's
on-
a great question.
At what point does it turn to come back behind me?
What does that have to do with my argument? Seriously, what does that question have to do with my argument? I destroyed your model.
No, you haven't done shit because you haven't presented shit. So what he's asking you is essentially, he's asking you about something. So you asked us about an 8 months observation, anecdotal piece of evidence, and then you're trying to ask us how, or you ask us how to explain it. Now, B-Ball is taking that separately and saying, when we look up at stars, this particular thing we observe, why is that? Now there's a question posed to you, Scrat.
I can't tell you why it does. All I can tell you is it happens. Okay, I can speculate. I can say
Well,
they're
thing is, we have an
rotating in a
explanation.
circle above us. What?
The thing is, we have an explanation for it.
Yeah,
but
that
you-
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Listen, just because
Does
you have an no, it doesn't. Just because you have an explanation doesn't mean that it represents
And then we also
reality.
can
Okay, listen, just real quick. Okay, just real quick, B-Ball. Okay, just to be, I don't know, contemporary, so to speak. The wheel in the sky, right? The rock group Journey, the wheel in the sky keeps on turning. Okay, that's a reference to the celestial wheel. It's a reference to the zodiac. Okay, they didn't say that the rotation of the Earth keeps on turning, right? They're talking about the phenomenon of what they observe. Up in the sky, there is a wheel that turns. It
Yeah,
just
there's actually two wheels.
rotates. Okay,
Well,
great. That's okay. Hold on. I'm talking to B-Ball. Okay, please. Okay, that's fine, B-Ball. That's fine. I know that there are two, but in terms of just addressing your point, we can't get up there. We cannot dissect and parcel out the mechanism of the sky. We can simply describe what it is doing, which is what you call your explanation, but you can't prove any of your explanation anymore.
I can use a model to demonstrate what's going on. And
We
you
don't
guys
have
can't.
to use a model. It's in the sky. We don't have to use a model.
You do need a model.
That's a reification fallacy.
That's
This
not
is
what
a fallacious
reification means.
statement.
A model that
Yes.
represents reality.
No, he's
Which you guys don't
that's
have.
what he's doing. He's using his model and is claiming that it represents reality.
Yeah,
That's
but
what
it
you're
is
you're
reality.
questioning the model right now. When you bring up your anecdotal evidence, you are literally questioning the model. So excuse us for using a model to explain things. When you question
Just because,
the model,
okay,
of course.
just because you have a model that fits with what's happening doesn't make it real.
Oh, you do
okay?
agree that our model
Pretty good
does
indicator.
fit. You do agree that I can present a model that fits with reality, right?
Okay, no,
Okay.
listen, again.
I can show you.
Simply because your model has a constituent part that addresses the rotation of the sky. Okay, your model actually begins farther back than that upon a major premise, which you guys don't want to address. That major premise, if it is false, shits on your model for what you think or can explain the sky to be doing. So again, we are arguing by begging the question that your major premise even exists.
Yeah, your whole argument, it starts with a begging the question fallacy, which your argument is
so
now void.
Can you present some sort of representation of what you're trying to say? Or what you're trying to put forth? Some sort of I don't know, diagram or something to show us how it works on a flat Earth? Can you give us something?
I don't know. You mean how the stars move? You mean how the stars move?
Yes.
Yeah, we talked
Yeah,
about that going to the end.
You when the sun goes down and you start seeing the stars,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see the stars, they're moving above us, and eventually they go too far away.
The way they move.
That's how you
So
describe
if it moves in a straight line away from us, how does it end up back behind me, going back
They
over
don't
my
move
head?
in a straight line. They don't move in a straight line. They move in a circular motion.
So at what
Circular
point
path.
does it start to turn to the right? Does
I don't know.
does it happen below the horizon?
Again, I could say anything. Just because
But
I
you don't-
give you,
well, you-
hold on. If I give you an explanation, it doesn't mean it's right. And I'm not going to build a
Again.
straw man for you to burn down.
Yeah, again, I addressed this yesterday with your question about the sun, okay? All you're doing is now moving your question away from the sun to the zodiac, okay? It is moving across the surface of the earth.
And how
had-
does it end up behind me?
It's a wheel. It's a
Oh
wheel.
my God,
It
B-ball.
turns in the sky. I know. I know. Oh my God.
But
It's like
there's two
B-ball.
wheels in
You
the sky,
cannot.
though.
Okay, B-ball.
I
Listen very
understand how it
carefully.
works. It
Okay,
seems like you
B-ball.
guys can't
No,
really
no, no.
can't really
No, no, no,
demonstrate it,
no,
though.
no.
It's been
Okay, hold on.
modelled. I've just tagged you in
Okay.
general chat there.
Oh,
B-ball.
let me guess.
The Steve
Steven
Torrance models.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
So
you've
does
never
everyone
actually
agree?
looked
Let
at.
me ask you a question. Does everyone agree with the Steven Torrance model?
Clearly not.
No.
If no one else cited it apart from
Okay.
me, you idiot.
Okay,
Huh?
great. So
I
we can
haven't
throw that
watched
out.
it and looked at it in detail, and probably a good portion of the panel hasn't.
That's it, because that's what you have to do,
I never
people,
heard of
instead
it.
of just hand wave dismissing it. You know, I mean, he's
Does-
got a sunset there,
umbrella.
which looks like real life. Yeah.
Right, real quick though. Does his sun in this model change in angular size?
No.
Yes, it does. Yes.
It
No.
must.
No,
No,
it
no, it's a
squashes.
point source,
No,
so
it
it doesn't
squashes.
change in angular size.
What?
You
Why
can use
must
a
it?
filter.
Why
You can
must
use a
it? Do you
What
know
is that?
how the flat Earth model works? Sorry.
The sun is
What
not
model?
a point source anyway.
Right.
Is the sun a
Yeah,
point source?
that's how we defined it, so
Wait a
it
minute.
does.
But it's not what you
No,
see.
This is
It's
That's
not a
not doesn't
point.
match reality.
But anyway,
Look at the
anyway,
sun.
you're trying to
Right.
distract from the point. He's actually modelled it
Oh, well,
and it
we're computing your
appears
point.
in the
We're
east
computing
and the
your
west because it's a big hula hoop above you, or it's doing a big hula hoop above you, and you have a limited perspective of the floor.
Does everyone agree with the
The
big hula hoop
floor-
above the earth?
The floor, yeah, that is the circular path. What going
Oh,
between
Okay.
a circular path on a flat Earth? Come on, these are the
Yeah, it's
basics.
pretty obvious,
Gleam,
B-ball.
Okay.
his horizon curves.
It sure
What do you
does.
mean? It's supposed to curve because he's got a wide angle lens. Do you know what that actually means?
Yeah, but this is water, right? This is water, and
Water's
Yes,
the
and it's a
horizon
wide angle
is
lens, right?
curved.
It's a wide angle lens, right?
So what is he actually showing, man? Because this
He's
is
showing a sunset on his flat Earth model that you just said
the
didn't
horizon.
exist.
The horizon's curved, man. Where do you want me to
Do
go?
you
with this?
understand? Yeah, do you understand how wide angle lens works? I said that about 3 times, but it just seems as if it went
It's
one
a
ear
model.
and went
Why-
out
He
the
wants
other.
to
modeling
pretend
a
you're saying
wide-angle
something
lens?
stupid instead of actually addressing what you're saying, Gleam.
Yeah.
in case
Do you know
didn't
what a
catch on to
wide
that.
angled lens does
Yeah,
when
we-
the
yeah, we know
horizon's
what
Gleam,
that
below
you're
is.
it?
gonna say it. Go ahead.
How
It
is this
curves it.
over a flat Earth?
How is that over a flat Earth?
Yeah.
Because it's net flat 100%.
How did you verify that it's net flat in this video?
No, I verified it because A, I spent probably 2 years watching him build it from scratch, and B, because I added a little figure to it and helped him. Okay?
So to me, this actually matches my model. Sun goes
Shut up.
down right below the horizon.
You modeled your,
so it matches the globe
you-
model. Wow. And it goes
Yeah.
below the horizon, but
No,
in
but how did-
fact,
but
it's
this-
only an effect of
This
perspective.
is not showing.
Wow.
But this is not showing the actual flat Earth. This is just showing
It
a
isn't.
horizon and
Exactly.
the sun going below it.
It's
Right,
on his
exactly.
model, silly Billy.
Where's the actual model though? Can we get a full
Have you not
view of
seen the
whole
Steve
model?
Torrance model 2 minutes ago? You said, oh,
No,
about that
but it
Steve
doesn't
Torrance thing, as
show.
if you knew it.
But it doesn't show the whole model.
Who's talking
No,
to
it
you?
doesn't show the whole model.
No, his whole channel
Right.
shows the whole model. Do you want to see all of the?
Gleam,
I mean,
Gleam,
he's got
if you cover up the
102
top part of the
videos.
video,
Just keep talking about
if you,
Here we
if you-
go.
if you cover
There we
the top
go.
part of the video,
There we go. There
hold
it
on,
is.
If
There
you
it is.
cover the
No,
top
there
part of
it
the
is.
video in this
No,
video,
they're all in
how do I
general.
know whether the Earth is
No,
flat or
you're
round
jumping
in
from
this
left to
video?
right, and
No, I'm
I
saying on
ain't,
this
I
one
ain't getting
video.
a, I ain't
Saying on
getting
this
a
one video,
admission
Gleam.
from you that you're stupid.
Okay, Gleam. Oh, watch this. I'm
Admit
so
it, B.
stupid.
Admit
I'm
it.
so stupid. There you go. See, I said
No,
the words. So I'm asking you a question.
right,
On the
okay.
video that you presented, if you cover up
Yes.
the top part and you
Yes.
just watch this observation, in what
Yes.
way can we differentiate whether the model is flat or sphere in this video?
Because he has designed it flat. And there is
How
no
do you
way to
verify?
there is no way to differentiate
Wait
because
a minute.
how can you verify what? What are
Verify
you
the
asking to
model,
verify?
man. Zoom out.
No,
zoom
shush
out.
a second, Brenda.
Show us a
Let me
flat
take a-
plane and
let me
zoom
take a
out,
screenshot of
and then
this.
zoom
Hold
back
on.
in, and then show this. That's one way to
Have
verify.
you not seen his model?
I'm looking
He's
at it
only
right
got
now.
one model. He's got a flat Earth model to scale, and he's got a globe Earth model to scale, which is compared side by side. What is your
videos
problem?
you present are so shit, man.
Remember yesterday,
that's a
when
great
Bio admitted
rebuttal.
that he didn't,
so
he hadn't
shit,
looked at the
man.
I just
videos
explained
or
how it's
studied
shit.
them in detail, and he was having
Yeah,
trouble
because
with
you
it.
don't understand how wide-angle lenses work. Come
No,
on.
that's
Your
fine.
knowledge is
I'm
shit,
saying
you
here,
mean.
we have
Guys.
no way to verify this single video. We have no way to verify
Yes,
whether
you
this,
do.
whether this is modeled with a flat
Yes,
Earth
you
or a sphere
do.
Earth.
You
Because
asked the guy for the
what I can
model.
do is model this as a sphere Earth, zoom in real close to the
Oh my
coast,
gosh.
show the effect, and then make the claim, yeah, this is my flat Earth model, and then you would present
Listen.
it in this way.
Listen, why
Why
the
are you
hell?
guys
Why
constantly
the
talking
hell?
about models? Hey,
Why
hold
the
on for a
hell
second.
would he model a flat Earth, right, and then use a globe Earth?
I don't know, man.
Why are
I
you
don't know.
constantly
But isn't
You
that
don't know
possible?
because it's
No,
illogical.
no, no. Isn't that
He's a
possible?
flat earther.
Okay, watch this. He's a
No,
con
it's
man.
not
There you go. He's a
possible.
con
It's
man.
not possible
There you
because
go.
I saw him build
He's a
it.
con man. There you
Hey,
go. Would
really
that be a good
quick.
reason for a con man?
Hold on one second,
No,
Baldu.
because
I took
I've
a
watched him
screenshot.
build it.
I took a
Yes, that would be the
screenshot
case if I've just
of
seen
that
one
video.
video and made a conclusion from
Gosh.
that, but I
Hey,
haven't.
Hey, Gleam, I took a screenshot of that video. At what point does that sun go below the horizon?
It doesn't. It goes out of view.
From where? From who on Earth?
Right, look at the video below that. Right, I've posted about
No,
6,
I'm using
and
this
it
one right
shows.
here.
No. Listen, you asked for further information about the model.
Look,
I gave
let me
it, and
go.
now you're going. No, I don't
I'm
want that
scanning
further
over.
information because that's too much information. That gives me the correct information.
Okay, well, here's the
You're an
very
idiot.
hold up, Here's the
It
very
does not. It shows it from the God perspective, which we don't see, do we? We
Why
see
are
it from
you
the Earth
lying,
perspective.
Why are you
Okay,
I'm
hold up.
not lying.
Here's
I'm
a
not
very
lying. It's
simple
there
Here's a very
in
simple
a model.
question then. Here's a very simple
Hey,
question.
hey,
How far
ballers.
away
You're
is
just-
the sun? How
Hey,
far away is the
ballers. This
sun
little
from there?
thing you're doing right now, ballers, is
It
really
says it on the
fucking
screen,
weak.
Beeble. Are you
It's
that
really
dense?
weak.
Are
No,
you
hold
that
up.
dense? It says it on the screen.
Brandon, do you think this video is compelling in any fucking way because we can't verify
The
what it
arguments
actually
you are
You
making,
can
Bio, that
verify
you
it.
guys are
The model
making,
maker's there.
I don't know what you're doing tonight, but it's weak as fuck.
No, hold up. But I have
There's
a very
evidence of
simple
weakness.
question.
I'll take all of you on.
In this model right here that you're showing,
Where's-
you said it gets too far
Oh
away.
my
How
gosh.
far away is the sun?
Oh,
Why
Gleam,
are you
look it
saying
up,
that?
How does this
It
person not
says
see the
it
sun?
on the screen.
How does this
Can you
person
not read it
not
on the
see
screen?
Google
It's
it.
between 3,800 and 4,200 miles.
3,000 miles? Okay. How does this person
41.52.
that I drew here? How does it not see the sun? If I'm standing right there,
Your land
how is he
is
not
blocking
seeing
you
the sun?
because you
What
you
land?
only got a limited
land?
point of view of the land. I mean,
I'm looking
ISS only sees 3% of Earth.
The
Doesn't
guy's
see all of
looking
Earth,
up
does it?
at how is he not seeing the sun at night?
oh my God.
I've just
I mean,
explained it.
This
Did
is
you
really
not
silly,
understand?
man. Come on.
How long have you been in the flat
Did you
Earth scene
really
and
just
don't
ask-
know
This is
how it
really,
works?
this is really fucking silly, man. And
Yeah,
you're gonna
it's not,
we
it's
can do the
modeled.
math on this. It's
It's
gonna
something
come
you
out to
said
about
did not
25 degrees
exist.
above the horizon. If
Yes,
Yeah,
and the
exactly.
25 degrees
If
is
you
the
all just say
apparent
something silly-
rise in the horizon, you idiot.
Oh,
No,
chaos.
is he
Yeah.
fucking listening to himself talk?
If
This is
okay,
so
watch this.
funny.
Think about this very carefully, Gleam. Does
I
the
have done.
horizon
I've calculated
does
it.
the horizon rise to eye level?
Apparently.
Okay, perfect. We're going to go very slow.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently the horizon rises to eye level.
Yes.
Now, when I say 25 degrees above your eye level, do you think
I
that the
actually
horizon
calculate it at
also goes at
28.07 degrees. I actually calculate it at 28.07 degrees, but we'll go 25 degrees to round it down, but go on. Yep.
Right. So when you say that, does a horizon also go with that 25, 28 degrees? Or does it remain at eye level and your
No,
eyes
that is-
move up 25 degrees?
You know the distance from your horizon down to your feet? That is the 25 degrees, bearing in mind that you've got an actual cutoff point of about
How is-
45.
How all right. So what you're saying is a straight line from your feet to the horizon
hmm
gives you a 25-degree angle, a straight line.
Can I explain how?
I'd fucking love you to, man.
Okay. Now, here we go. You're looking out to the horizon on a globe. This is the globe model. Okay, a ship appears to be going upwards, doesn't it? Towards the horizon, yeah? However, in reality, geometric physical reality is doing the complete opposite thing, isn't it? Because we're supposed to be, from our reference frame, on top of the Earth, and everything is falling away from us, down, isn't it? Yeah, so perspective actually changes the physical reality. Now, can I ask you a question back and ask?
Wait. Say those words again. Perspective changes physical reality. Say that again.
Yes. Perspective changes because we're expecting on a ball for that to go down straight away as soon as it leaves our feet. Yeah, but it doesn't. It goes up towards a horizon, which is created by our perspective, which we know the land doesn't really rise or the sea doesn't really rise, does it? It's
No,
an
as with
element
distance,
of
it'll approach
perspective.
your eye level. Never cross, but approach. Sure.
Yeah. So that is the opposite to way the geometry works. Yes.
No. Why would that be opposite? It's approaching your eye
Because
level.
when you're on a ball, everything goes down from you. Is that not correct? Does it go up then down? Is it like a wobbly
No,
ball?
it'll always be.
It's
It'll
got
always be
waves
down.
in it. So does it go down?
Yeah, of course it does. It'll
But
go
it
down,
appears
but
to go
not
up,
enough.
doesn't it?
Not enough with the ratio to the distance
But
that it gets away.
yeah,
and our
okay,
vision.
but it appears to go up, doesn't it?
It'll appear to approach your eye level because the angular size of the thing is changing away from your,
What
You're
your eye
telling
level.
me-
to
So
go
if
up,
your feet are approaching, your feet are going to basically squish into your body.
Oh
Your
my
entire
God.
body changes angular size, but you're not actually approaching
What?
eye level. It's just appearing to because the angular size.
that's
is
what I've
changing.
just said.
Oh my
You're-
gosh,
it's
this guy's just
appearing
spewing
to
nonsense.
go up. Is that correct? Your perspective makes your reality the opposite direction. Is that correct or not?
No,
Okay. So you are saying a ship
That's his
going
own way
up
on.
to the horizon is not opposite to a sphere going down at
it's
all.
changing angular size. So when you're introducing this thing of up and down from the horizon, that's totally separate from it changing angular size. It's changing angular size smaller.
No, I'm talking
towards
its
the horizon,
apparent
sure.
direction.
Being
I'm not
pedantic
talking
about
its
he's talking
size.
about the direction, not the size.
I'm not talking the size. Why are you distracting every single sentence and
I'm
question
not.
I ask?
I'm not. It's
You're
staying
like,
in the same
yeah,
position.
yeah,
relative to your
but
eye level.
there's something else I want to convolute this with, and then I want to just say, yeah, you're right.
Relative
Just say,
to your
yeah, I'm
eye
right,
level,
and
it
get it
stays-
over with.
Relative to your eye level, it stays in the same position. All that's changing is the angular size furthest away from your eye level. There's a perfect diagram that Brandon now has that showcases this exactly. Relative to your eye level, it's not changing position up and down. It's only changing angular size with distance.
But it
All over the
appears
picture.
to, yes or no, it appears to go
I'm
up.
telling you, it appears not to go up or down. Relative to your eye level, it appears to stay at your eye level. All it's doing is
Okay,
changing
well,
angular size.
here's the thing.
Wow.
To people who are honest, to the honest people, it does appear to go up.
Here you
Okay,
go. In this diagram
you
right
can
here,
lie
at
about
eye
it.
level, there are three
Put
objects
it
that are
this
at
way,
eye level.
Biodu, I think this is
hold on.
hilarious.
No,
No,
hold
no,
on,
I think this
because
is
I
hilarious
have a
because
diagram
in
I'm
order for it to
showing
go up, it must go
go
down,
ahead.
and therefore that's your globe.
No, I
Yeah,
didn't say
that's
that
your
at all.
globe.
So here,
So if it doesn't go up and it goes straight out and then down, so have we got a little sort of like edge of Earth now?
yeah, there we
You
go.
are
So
so
here in
dense.
this
You've just
diagram,
debunked the globe.
in this diagram that I've shown in the chat, the yellow, green, and blue ones are all at eye level. They don't go up or down in reference to eye level. The angular size is changing with distance.
Yes.
Thank you. They don't go up or down.
They
Thank
appear to go up. The base appears to go up. No?
Oh, now the base. No. You said the object. The object doesn't appear to go up or down. I
That
said
is
from
the
beginning,
object. The
angular
base to
size
the top,
changes
is it not?
from your feet because that's the most extreme part of the object in reference to your eye level.
But does that go up?
He's talking about the horizon,
Or is that going
dude.
down? As they progress back, so from the yellow to the green to the blue, is that appearing to go up from the base?
The angular size of it is changing. Yes.
Is it appearing
In
to go
reference
up,
to
though?
your eye
Is
level,
it up
the object is
field
still
of view?
at your eye level there.
So why is it not appearing to go down like the geometric reality would suggest?
No, it
all I'm
does.
trying to
With
establish is
elevation- with elevation, it
they're
does.
different. They're
Demonstration
different.
is not a curve. This is not on a curved
Hey,
surface.
hey,
Right,
Brandon.
I have
exactly.
no idea how perspective works.
So on a curved
Look at-
surface, you're saying
I've got
that
a panel
that
in
green
the
one would be immediately below that yellow one's base. Is that
Slightly.
what you're telling me?
Slightly,
The
yes.
top of that green one, the head of the green would be slightly below the red line, and then the blue one would be slightly
What?
below the red line and the green top.
Yes.
This is a
Are
flat
you
plane
serious?
diagram here. This is
Are
a
you
flat plane
serious?
diagram.
Yes.
Are you
we're
actually serious?
Yes,
Yes.
100% serious. Yes.
Okay, can you prove that to me now? Can you show me
What, any curvature?
a physical reality of what you just explained there, and show me it dipping down in the foreground before it reaches the horizon?
What, with distance?
Well,
So basically,
Just basic reality. All I
picture-
want to see is basic reality from that yellow, as if there's an object in front, Yeah, and immediately before we reach the horizon, it's going down.
Right. So you're just asking for a 6-foot camera looking at a 6-foot object at a distance, and then also measuring the angular change between eye level of that camera and then the
It
top of
going
that person's head.
It going
Right.
down.
So it's the baseline question of this whole debate, right? Because if I provide that, then there is no debate. But there is a debate. So you obviously haven't
Oh my God!
been
What the
presented
hell
or
have
accept
I
the
done
evidence.
to you? What have I done to you? I'm going to back away because this is getting difficult for you. I can hear it in your voice.
But you're asking
Difficult
for
for
the proof
what?
of the globe. That's 100% what you're asking for right
No,
now.
what I'm
So
asking
if
for, right?
it's
What
provided,
I'm
then
asking
there's
for
no
is for
debate.
you to breach perspective, because in my eyes, perspective converges all to the horizon line, and it's at the horizon line where the curvature starts. Really.
Your eye level. It's your eye level. If you change your elevation to 1,000 feet, that's your eye level now. Not everything is going to be converging at the horizon at that point. It's still going to be your eye level.
But you can't show me that. Okay, cool.
I can show you that.
No, that's
I can
cool.
show you at elevation where the horizon doesn't meet your eye level. I can show you that.
I've got 3 pictures that Brandon can pull up in a panel.
Where did you put them though, Travis? I didn't see them.
I should have put them back in the regular general right now. Just
oh, I see them.
a couple posts.
Black Swan to that. Black Swan.
Yeah, Gleam, I'll tag you in horizon below eye level measurements, not just observation measurements.
It's got nothing to do with horizon below eye level.
You just said horizon.
No, I
always
said
comes up to
objects.
eye level,
I
so,
said
yeah.
objects. No, I did not say that. I did not say that, and I've said it many a times, isn't it? I am not one who always says that it always comes up to eye level, because a flat Earth would necessarily have to drop the further distance you get away from it.
We disagree, but we don't have to get into that. That's fine.
Yeah,
I think
you've
we
just
talked about
changed
that
my
before.
argument because you couldn't deal with the real one. It's okay.
No, specify exactly what you want. Specify exactly what you want. I'll take on the challenge. Go ahead.
Did you or did you not just show objects going off into the distance as a figure of perspective? Yes or no?
Oh yeah, of course. On a perfectly flat plane.
So when you're showing objects, what's that got to do with the horizon rising to eye level?
Though that's just the mantra from flat earthers.
No, that's just
No, it's not.
bullshit that you
No,
just
it's
made
not.
up. That's just
So
bullshit you
you're
threw
telling
into
me-
the conversation to
So
pad
you're
it up
telling me
with
a
lies.
layman flat earther, if I said what are
Whoa, you're
or
talking to
ask
us,
about mantras,
Bio.
you
Why are
wouldn't
we
say-
talking about this nebulous group of people?
You're dragging
we all generalize
everything
each
you can into it because you need help, obviously. So I'll back away and
we
I'll
generalize
give
everything.
you.
What
I'll
did you
give
want to
you
ask
someone
about
else.
what did you want to ask about the
Well,
diagram?
You're obviously
I'd
going
like
to
to point
obfuscate
something
it.
out. I'd like to point something out. He completely changed the subject after I destroyed the whole idea that the Earth orbits the sun by the movement of the stars. He
No,
just
you
completely changed
No, you didn't
the
destroy
subject.
anything, man.
I didn't change the subject at all. I'm not a subject changer.
How-
Gleam brought
How
it up.
could
No, the subject
Bullshit.
went from
destroy it?
how does
You
the
need to
sun work
explain
on the
how
flat
it's
Earth,
possible.
and it was
Oh, that's right.
perspective.
That's right. And then you brought up the model thing, and then
Yeah,
Who
someone
was that
remembers what
speaking?
happens.
Who was that speaking? That just said, just pointed that out. I didn't catch your voice.
It's me, Scratch.
That's the man.
Scratch.
Right.
Flat.
Well, if
Okay.
you want to pick it
Yes.
back up, go ahead, man. Go back to your point. But let me read these. We got a couple messages here that are targeted at the panel. Adam Meekin, £5. Shout out to the non-flat earther, spitting truth and getting a dozen ballers squeaking like little piggies. Gleam's a flat earther. He just doesn't know it yet. Thanks, Adam. Dan the Waterman, $5. Shout out to Sean Hawkins and all the other Globers obsessed with us while routinely showing how they must fight to keep their paradigm in.
Nobody's fighting.
You guys are so fucking transparent. It's not even funny.
This
Go ahead.
is Entertainment. It's just entertainment.
Right.
Exactly
Oh,
what-
sure. I'm sure it's entertainment. It's your fucking second career, Brenda. This isn't entertainment. Anyway.
Okay.
Strat-
All right. So you guys need to demonstrate how it would be possible to see Orion 8 months out of the year. Because I just showed you how it's impossible. You guys need to demonstrate how it is possible, because
then you
you
need to-
claim we orbit the sun. Now you need to explain how it's possible to see Orion.
And then you
8
need to demonstrate how Orion ends up below the horizon.
Shut up,
Oh
B-Brick.
my gosh, you moron.
Well, wouldn't you see Orion all
Shut
the
up,
time?
Brett.
All the time. You probably
Yeah.
you would see it all the time.
B-ball, eat
Change
some
topic.
Cheetos,
Quick,
man.
change topic.
Shut up, Brender.
No, but you should see it.
Change
all the
topic.
time.
change topic.
No, you shouldn't.
That's not-
No, we
this
didn't.
is the
Blink,
topic.
Change topic.
We didn't change the topic. Your buddy changed the topic.
Why can't
So
you
the
answer this
topic
impossible
is:
question?
should we see
changed the topic.
Orion? How many months, Scrat?
8.
November
Eight
to
months.
February, yeah.
Is that accurate?
Yeah,
One of you
It's,
I mean,
globe
it's
believers?
an easy
No,
answer,
August?
Globers.
Because you
It's an
see
easy
it,
answer,
you start
Globers. Come
seeing
on.
it in the morning. Well, you know.
No, it's an easy answer. Come on, Globers. Don't fail us. Come on.
Right. There's a particular range of the year that it occurs. That's a prediction made. What Scrat has provided is anecdotal evidence without verification. So
says-
if it rings true, then
oh my
it's
gosh,
something that
I
needs to be investigated
personally-
within the model. But
Okay.
at the moment, that's the explanation.
Do we use
I
anecdotal
verified
evidence?
this myself.
Word of mouth
I
evidence?
personally.
Brian presented in his video yesterday that he posted that he used time and date to verify that it was available up to 9 months in some locations.
No, it's only
so he
for
used-
November to February.
So he used time
Oh,
and
did he?
date, which is based on a globe, right?
No, it's not November. It's August. You can see it now.
Well,
And
depending on
all
your
the way-
latitude.
You did say Orion, right? You did say Orion.
Yes,
I didn't miss it.
Orion, which is on the equator. It's not in the south or in the north. It's on the equator. So you should not be able to see it more than 6 months out of the year, because every 6 months you're on the opposite side of the sun, facing the opposite direction.
The
Have you
Earth
looked
is
at-
Scrat,
tilted.
we
Wait,
actually
yeah,
did
exactly.
go through this last night because
and have
Brian
you-
was making the same argument, and it's not as cut and dried as you're on this side. It's on.
Well,
It's on this
demonstrate how
side.
you would be able to see it then.
Yeah,
just need to demonstrate it.
have you looked at our model to even see how it is possible? I don't think you have.
What?
You got to look at both sides, man. You can't just look at your side and say, "Yep, it's possible on flat Earth because it is."
No, I'm looking at your side, the ball side.
Have you really looked at it though? Have
According
you
to
actually looked
you.
at a model and seen
What does he
why
need to
it's
look at,
visible?
B-Ball? Tell him
He needs to
specifically
look
what he needs to look at.
Look
Yeah,
at
well-
any kind of model we have. You can download Stellarium or anything like that and see exactly why it's visible.
And how does that explain it?
Because it'll show exactly when it's visible.
You don't know, do you?
Oh my gosh.
Where is the globe model though? Which one? Where can I see everything happening all at once? You know,
You could use Stellarium.
does that have the ground in it? And like I can see
Or
like
you
the
can
globe
use
and
one that I
everything.
use. I use Space Engine. You can use that one too. That's a pretty good one.
That's the official globe model, or I want the
there's-
official one.
What's the official
Not toy
one?
ones.
You guys are about as good as flat earthers when it comes to having models. You
I
don't
know,
got
you
shit
guys-
either.
Yeah, well, we at least have something. What do you guys have?
Stellarium can
Oh my
actually
God.
function as an Stellarium can actually function as a muthal as well. You have the option of putting it into a globular
Yep,
coordinate system or an azimuthal
seen it,
system. Now, I'm not saying that's precisely correct, but
Do you
essentially
want-
that is
It's been done. It has been
planar-
done. I've seen it.
Do you want
planar
the
Earth
short?
model.
Do you want the short answer? The short answer.
Well, hold on. I like what G.
Shut
Go
up.
ahead.
The short
I
answer.
wouldn't just. I want you to demonstrate how it's possible.
It's because in the summer, it's up during the day.
Gio, you said they use
Oh my
Stellarium on a flat Earth.
Yeah, you can put Stellarium into an azimuthal coordinate system, like in the actual software.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's neat.
It's up
In the
during
summer,
day.
Orion is in the sky during the day. That's why you can't see it.
Okay, we don't have time for stupid.
Yeah, this
Brender,
is.
did you watch the video that I
my
posted
God.
yesterday?
No.
It wouldn't even be. It wouldn't even be in the sky during the day because it's on the other side of the sun.
Right. We did this. Right, we did this yesterday. So Brender, I posted my video yesterday and asked you if you'd be willing to look at it. It's only 20 minutes. You didn't look at it. So why don't you go away, take a look at it, see if you understand it, and then
That's
come
a
back.
different topic.
Yeah. But it's a long show, so it'll just take you 20 minutes.
I
Hey,
think
Scrat. Oh,
Jeremy.
and while you're there, Brenda, make sure you go cut a check for Chris Berry for $1,000. He's been asking for it
Yeah.
around town.
Yeah, I'll do that. So I think Jeremy had a question he wanted to ask me.
Wait, I want to close this thing with
he
Scrat out.
doesn't.
Scrat, is it on the exact opposite side of the sun from you after 6 months? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. You say we orbit the sun, right? And
I don't
it takes
say
a
we're
year.
over to the sun.
So,
I'm not a baller. I'm not a baller.
okay. Well, they say that we orbit the sun. So every 6 months, the Earth is on the opposite side of the sun as it was 6 months before.
Right, but
Yes.
think about this. So you got to take the tilt into consideration, and when it starts getting dark at your location, you're at a different angle relative to all the stars around you in their model, as you are at midnight, and then as you are at just before dawn. So you have to take all those into consideration, and it's because that opens
I have
up your
taken all
angle.
of those into consideration.
Yeah.
Thanks,
No.
Okay.
Thanks,
No.
Brandon.
You,
It takes
you
a
have to
flat
under-
earth to debunk another
you-
flat
you're
earther.
Your night
ignoring
is
the
longer as
fact-
well, so you can see a wider spectrum of the constellation because your night lasts longer.
Can I give it a short
You're
short
ignoring
answer?
the fact that
The better than
that
Brenda's answer.
Orion is behind the sun, and you are looking in the opposite direction at night.
You know that the Earth rotates,
You need
right?
to use logic here.
It doesn't.
Oh
You know
my
that the
gosh.
Earth rotates,
in the model, it does.
right?
In the model.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's what we're talking about.
What does that
You
have
guys
to
know
do
we
with
don't
it?
really care about the model, right? I just want to get this clear because I hear sometimes you guys fall back on, well, that's in the model. We don't really care what the model says. You can do whatever you want with your fucking model and have a
but
little globe
supposedly-
sitting on your desk and tell, Santa Claus is
What
everywhere
model?
still.
He's
And we all know
What
that's
model?
fake
They
too.
don't even have a model.
But
He's
no, I mean,
doing
they
an
can
internal-
act like they have a model. I really don't care. We don't really
Where
have a
is it?
Santa Claus, right?
Well,
He's
here's
doing-
the alternative.
he's
But
doing
we're
an
interested in,
internal-
let me make my
Toy
point.
section at
We're
Walmart,
interested
damn
in actual reality. See, we want to know what we actually live on, what shape the
Well,
actual Earth is, the real one.
Yeah.
That's
In
what
a-
we're
in a
interested
sense,
in.
that's- Exactly. I mean, that's 90% of their argument is this model that their authorities have cooked up that they go with. So it's like that's mostly what they have. So that's why
not how science
they
works.
use it as their number one.
Where's the model
Yeah,
at?
that's not how science works.
It's just used as a demonstration.
You have
so when,
no
so
idea
when
how
someone
science
asks,
works.
so when someone like Scrat says, "How does this thing work on a globe?" What else do you want us to do than provide a model, a demonstration,
No,
a visualization of it?
No,
we
I
could
actually
we
didn't
could
ask
ignore
that.
the model and just say, okay, well, the Earth revolves around the sun and the Earth rotates. Would that be sufficient, or would a
No,
visualization or
you're
demonstration?
connecting the
didn't
two
ask that.
points that I didn't mean to be connected, Biodual. What I just wanted, that was kind of an aside because I hear people bringing up in our model all the time. And I don't want people to get confused that us, non-globe believers are trying to debunk your model
But
necessarily.
that's what he was doing.
We're
That's what
trying to
he was
figure
doing.
out what Earth actually is.
But he was
You
doing
understand?
an internal. He was
Yeah,
doing
that's what I
an
was-
internal critique. He
That's what I was
doing
going to say. I mean, this discussion is what the Earth is. It's not what somebody's model on Google told somebody and whether
No,
that's true or false.
that's not true.
The discussion is what is the Earth.
No, the discussion is that he brought up what he considered a problem in our model. He's doing an internal critique of the globe model. So it's
This is
appropriate
what
for
I
us
brought up.
to
okay?
say what our model is.
This is what I brought up. You guys claim this Earth orbits the sun. And I just pointed out the movement of the stars completely destroys that idea because what you see would not be possible. That's just
We
plain and
explained
simple.
to you how it is possible. We explained to you how it is possible.
Yes, please explain it.
We did. We already did.
No, you did not.
You said go to the model. Go to the model.
Yeah, no,
I want to
we
go to
said
the model.
Which is
Can I,
where?
can I
Because-
explain? Can I just give it a one-word explanation? And it's called a triangle. If you create the triangle between one side of the orbit and the other side, which is, let's say, 180 odd million miles, but then the actual distance to Orion's belt is 433 million light years. The actual triangle that you're creating there, the actual distance that you're moving, if you imagine, and it's not like this, but if you imagine that the actual Orion's belt is pointing as if it's Polaris for the sun. Yeah. So 433 million light years up, and no matter how we're turning in a circle, no matter when you look left from one season or right from the other season, it's still going to have that acute angle enough to see them.
Yeah, thank you,
No,
Gleam.
That's
Thank
not
you,
wrong.
Gleam.
No,
That was
that
pretty
is
good, Gleam.
completely wrong. That is
Welcome to
completely
Globe
wrong.
Earth, Gleam. Welcome.
No,
to
I knew
I
about it
wouldn't say
beforehand,
welcome.
you idiot.
I wouldn't say
Oh.
welcome, but that was a good explanation, and it is nice when a flat Earth can represent something.
I ain't a flat earther, you knob.
I know.
Yeah,
I think it's
you
pretty
just need me to
universal
be
that
one, don't you?
on both
What he
sides,
said there is completely wrong, though.
welcoming people to a cosmology
That's
on
the
both,
globe explanation.
on both sides is a complete waste of breath because nobody's going to change their perspective because somebody welcomes them.
Just a little
It's funny.
humor. Just lighten up. It's just a little humor. Just relax.
Fight night, Brenda.
Yeah, nobody's not relaxed. I'm just pointing out that welcoming people seems to be just a waste of energy.
So Jeremy has questions for me.
Or saying welcome, I should say. It's fine to welcome someone in general, but just saying that over and over doesn't really do anything.
Brenda, nobody wants to talk to you. You're the dumbest person here. I have a
You
question for the
said-
Globers.
You
Where
said
is
you
the, where
did
is the,
on QE's Globebusters.
no, where's the globe model? Where can I see it? That's my
It's
question.
not a.
It's not a what?
It's not a physical. Do you understand what a model is?
I don't. Where is it? Yeah, sure. Where is it?
Yeah. What is a model, Jeremy?
I don't, is it
Jeremy,
in
you
your
work at a
mind?
school. I'm sure they have globes there, right?
That's your globe. That consists of the whole globe model, just a globe.
No, that'd be part of the model. That'd be the a model of the physical makeup, the dimensions, shit like that.
Where's
If you want
the
a
whole
complete
thing?
model,
There
I
is
would-
no globe
heliocentric.
model.
I'm
There is
surprised
no
you
globe
guys
model.
aren't just.
altogether.
I'm surprised you're not just saying Google Earth and Google
Jeremy,
Sky.
Jeremy,
I
there
would
is
use
no
that.
globe model. There is no such thing in science called a globe model. There is a globe
Yeah, there is.
that is used as a sphere of Earth and whatever, but there is a heliocentric model of science. Yeah, and
Sure,
then there is a standard model of cosmology, and then you have a standard particle model, and there's a couple of more, but there's no standard model of the globe. There's
I
no
found it
globe
very
model.
interesting. I found it very interesting that Stellarium, B-Ball wanted me to go to Stellarium, and that works on a flat Earth.
I love how they programmed
No, it
in
doesn't.
dark matter.
No, Stellarium does not work on a flat Earth.
It does
Well,
project onto it. It
well,
does.
was-
I have seen it work on a flat Earth projected AE map.
Well,
Definitely.
yeah. Well, I mean, what Stellarium has right at the bottom of the main icons in the software, it has an azimuthal grid and the equatorial grid. So the equatorial would be your globular type system, and azimuthal. Essentially, what it does with the azimuthal is it puts essentially like a personal atmospheric dome grid because it's treating the system as an azimuthal system. Now, I'm not saying that this is a perfect and complete map of a planar Earth system, but it does show the exact same movements with an azimuthal grid, meaning
Is that yours?
No, it's called Stellarium.
No, I mean, is that your belief? Is that your belief?
What I'm saying is that when you put the azimuthal grid on in the software, it shows essentially the concept of a personal atmospheric dome. Meaning, if you use the software, I mean, I could share my screen if needed, but as you look up, you see essentially a local region dome, which is showing the azimuthal grid within that local area of the sky.
Is that your a concept, your model of the flat Earth?
Stellarium? No.
No, azimuthal.
Well, it depends on.
Brenda, you're
Azimuthal is
distracting.
just a term. I mean,
It's
what are you
a
referring
term,
to?
I'm referring to the azimuthal projection. Is that your model of the globe, of the flat Earth?
The AE
Are you
map.
talking about an azimuthal equidistant map? Is that what you're talking about? I mean, the word
Yes.
azimuth doesn't necessarily mean an
Yeah,
AE.
she doesn't understand.
Azimuth is just a word, and the azimuthal equidistant projection map is that particular map.
The Gleason map. Do you think the Gleason map is your flat Earth
Oh, it's
model?
on now.
Jesus
Oh
Christ.
my God's sake! Who cares
Oh,
about
boy.
the map?
How
Who
many
cares
times
about the
do you
map?
have
We're
to
not
ask
talking
you?
about the map.
Why are you dodging
No.
the question?
No,
Is that
you're dodging
your
and
model
obfuscating the
or
whole.
not?
in here. He's a known liar.
You just
Answer
obfuscated the whole topic.
question.
No, you answered the question. The
Hold on,
original
Jules.
one that was
I'll answer any
obfuscated.
question that's going, but the question was being asked by Brenda to the guy. whether or not that flat Earth, the azimuthal equidistant model, which is the Gleason model, does he think that represents reality or not? Yes or no?
What was he talking about? What was he talking about, Rumpus?
He could
What was he
identify
talking
as
about?
she, we don't know.
He was talking, right? He was talking about how Stellarium has an option to change it into planetarium mode.
And Brenda asked him whether or not the AE map represents what he believes to be the geometry of the Earth, and he's like, he's got it, and he's not answered that question.
I don't
Why
have
not?
But he didn't. It wasn't about that. It wasn't about the map.
Nonetheless, he was asked a question, and he's obfuscating, and he's refusing to answer.
No, it
Why?
was an obfuscation about the map.
Well, he's shut up. Ever since he was asked that question, he hasn't answered it.
No, it's because you've been
The
talking.
question has nothing to do with what he was talking about.
Let's let Gio
the
answer.
question came up, and he's now
Let's let him
dodged it
answer. Shut up,
consistently.
Rumpus. Let's let him answer.
The only reason I haven't answered is because you've been talking nonstop, and Gleam was
Go
speaking,
ahead.
which is fine. And I was also trying to ask Brenda.
Go
what
ahead.
she's
Stop
referring to.
dodging. Get on with it.
Rumpus, shut the fuck up. Go ahead, Gio.
If you're asking my personal opinion, I do not think.
Yes. Get on with the answer.
All right, Rumpus. I'm going
I've been snorting cocaine again, Rumpus. Calm down.
Here, I'll mute him and you can answer. There you go.
In his eyeballs.
Can you get rid of Rumpus, please? I'll pay money.
All right, Rumpus.
No.
I temporarily muted you, Rumpus. I'll unmute you in 10 seconds after I'm finished speaking, because all you do is scream when people talk. All right, so Brenda, if you're asking me personally, I do not think the Gleason's map is a 100% representation of the geocentric planar Earth. No. I do think that the general layout of the continents do spread out from the North Pole in a wheel spoke type fashion, meaning you have, the North America, South America stretch, you have the Africa stretch, Australia, etc. So I do think the continents in general are laid out in that structure. I think the AE map, the continents have that, the structure is close, maybe not 100%. But no, basic answer is I do not think it's 100%, but I do think that it is, let's say 80%, if I had to throw out there, accurate.
So
Yeah,
would
it was
it be
noticeable
possible?
that- Brenda, just a sec. It was noticeable that both Brenda and Rumpus, when they kept re-putting that question to you, never put it correctly. It's whether or not you think that an azimuthal equidistant projection of a ball Earth is how a flat earther thinks the world is.
Well,
It's a
many do.
ridiculous, loaded question. If you're intelligent enough,
He was quite
maybe you
able to
didn't-
clarify
maybe,
what he
maybe
wanted.
Brenda didn't understand that.
No, perhaps you
an
don't
AE
understand. It's
map
a
is
simple
projection
question. Does the
of the ball.
Gleason map
Rumpus,
represent the
Rumpus, you don't
geometry
need
of
to
the
white
flat
knight
Earth?
for
God damn it,
Brenda.
Rumpus. Come on,
All
no
right.
interrupting.
Take another line. Chill out.
I haven't been actually able to speak
Line
yet.
one up. Get your credit card out. Line another line up, and then you can come back in full rage mode again, can't you?
Well, I
Point
mean,
being, it's a retarded question.
no, it's not. We're
no
asking
flat-
if that's your
There
geometry of
you
the flat Earth or
go.
not.
Look, you see, you triggered,
All right.
Rumpy.
Go ahead. I'll just have to mute him
Can I just
every.
finish my sentence, Brandon? And
Yeah.
then, yeah. It's a loaded, ridiculous question. It's asking a
why?
flat earther whether
Why
or
is it
not
loaded?
taking a ball Earth, and projecting it into an AE map is our reality. No, we don't take maps as reality. It's not reality. That's your problem. That's the paradigm we left. That's what we're trying to show you here. I think a lot of people have been trying to demonstrate to you that as much as you want a model, the reason you have a model is for a lack of understanding. It's not to demonstrate you have understanding.
But Adam,
Thank you,
if you go,
Oh,
to
well
the
said,
meetups,
Adam.
if you go to the meetups and buy merchandise, it's all of the azimuthal equidistant projection.
Brilliant.
That
Brilliant,
was
Ben. So if
why.
you go where?
That was.
Sorry.
Excuse me. That was why I asked, because that is the vast majority of flat earthers. Maybe not you, or your group particularly, but the vast majority believe that the azimuthal projection is the map of the flat Earth.
Brenda, I love your flat Earth evangelism. Thank you for setting those errant flat Earthers. There may be one or two that naively thought when they saw that logo that was used as a symbol to against a ball that they actually thought that was reality. Thanks for setting those misguided souls
But that
straight,
was
Brenda.
that was the
you
case
are
for a long
saint.
time.
You are a saint, Saint Brenda.
Well, Adam, tell us what the geometry is. Show us the geometry
I don't know
of the
the
flat
geometry,
Earth.
you muppet, and neither
You
do
don't
you.
know.
You
You
have no
don't
idea.
know the geometry of
You'd
your
be able
own
to
Calm
prove
down,
it,
position.
wouldn't
Rumpus.
you?
Amazing.
Calm
If
down,
you
You
man.
don't
knew it,
know the
you'd be able to
geometry
Take a
prove it.
breath.
of your
Rumpus,
I'm
calm
own
gonna
the
challenge it.
position.
Oh my gosh.
Hey,
Brandon,
Get the
I've barely
brown
got a
inhaler
sentence
out, man.
out.
Get the inhaler out.
Adam has spoken
Get the
much more
inhaler
than
out.
I have.
Get the inhaler
Right,
out.
Rumpus
right.
doesn't
So the
deserve
point
to
is,
be here.
so because
No,
they
fuck you,
because they
Rumpus.
have
You
no
don't need to
valid
be
point.
here.
No,
Jesus Christ, can I get a single
listen.
sentence?
Let's not
Can I
start
get a single
interrupting.
sentence out?
Rumpus,
All you do
you
is
have
chant.
interrupted a lot. You came in hot, so everybody just chill the fuck out. Rumpus, stop
Right, could I just get a
interrupting.
sentence out? Right, so
You get
we've got
one.
the typical case here that Adam, as usual, has no idea about anything, and just like the Nathan Oakley strategy, is to deny everything, to deny having a position, and therefore the only thing you can do is to attack other positions. I mean, this is a guy, for instance, who doesn't know about tried to calculate it in an aeroplane.
Guys,
What's it gonna cost?
I
Get rid of
can't
Rumpus.
enforce him. I can't
an
enforce
asshole.
other people not to interrupt if you guys just fucking interrupt. I know he's irritated. He's not going to last
Mate,
long.
what's
Just
it gonna cost?
So the
to get
so the
rid of
point
Rumpus?
is,
I'm going to
these
interrupt.
people
If he
have no
starts off with
model.
just a
They have
straight
no
insult
position,
towards me.
and that's because
Yeah,
there is
I
no
reserve
valid
the
flat
right
Earth
to
position,
interrupt.
and we can
Please.
invalidate it very easily. Any position that is
What's
held.
it
That's
gonna
why they
cost?
avoid
No, you
it.
can't.
They've learned to avoid having a position so they can avoid criticism of it.
yeah, that's
Yes,
nonsense.
because
Brandon,
no one
what's
wants
it gonna
to be a
cost?
flat earther supporting a projection of a globe, you idiot.
Well, I mean, the situation we're in is a challenging one. In my opinion, we've not only been lied to about what the Earth is, but a lot of the ancient maps that potentially had the real layout of the Earth have been hidden. Who knows? They're in the basement of the Vatican. Who knows where they are? So I don't have a perfect map of the Earth. I don't know of anyone who does, other than perhaps the military. So we're given the globe, and we can talk about that. We're given, there's the AE map. There's some other old maps that are around, but don't look particularly accurate. So we're in a situation where we can look at what reality is. We can talk about, measuring level water and all of those factors, but I don't have, I guess I'll speak for myself, a perfect map of the Earth. The AE map is, I think, the closest in general, the Gleason's map, in terms of the general layout of the continents, and so on. But I haven't heard anyone claim in this discussion on either side that they personally have a perfect map of the Earth. We only have what is available.
Hey, Gio, what ancient map do you think comes closest to your concept of the flat Earth?
Well, what I was saying is that there are some old maps, AE-like maps, like maps that look like the Gleason's map is what I'm saying. Some of them have very contorted land masses and things. So what I'm saying is that those seem to have kind of made it through, in terms of those are still around. But I don't even think that those, this gets deeper into our history and what actually is going on with this globe deception and why we're in the situation we're in. But I think there were, in my opinion, ancient maps that were actually accurate that are not available, that they've been scrubbed.
Well, yeah, that's
like
what
I
I
said,
was
maybe they're in the
asking.
basement of the Vatican. Who knows?
That's what I was asking. Which ones do you think that are accurate? Have you seen them?
The ones he doesn't have access to?
My gosh, what a stupid question.
Then how does he know they exist?
He just said he thinks they might. He
Yeah,
didn't say they do exist. He says he thinks they might
Like,
exist.
Brenda and Rumpus, how are you two still, 5 years later, talking the same shit? Retard.
So you have no evidence for these other maps.
Like for example, there's this map. Many of us have seen these. This one has very, very different. It's different landmass sizes. It's sort of a Gleason's layout, but it's obviously dramatically different than the modern day globe or an AE map. So there's maps like this. Yeah, if you want to, I'm happy to say it's my intuition. Let's say my intuition that there are ancient maps that have been hidden from us, and that these are not necessarily correct either. And these are some old maps, but it doesn't mean that these are the one either.
Yeah,
we don't
so
know.
Why do you think that we are simply left with simply wondering about these things? Don't you think we can find out for ourselves?
In terms of the map, yeah, I do. I mean, humans only have access to about 70% of the Earth, meaning civilians. Like government land is over roughly 30% of the Earth that we don't have access to. However, even with the 70% we do, considering vaccine laws and COVID and all this stuff happening, but perhaps if we put together a crew, we could go around the Earth and try to map it ourselves.
Yeah, there's things you can do, right? Like you can map the curvature of the Earth. You can measure.
That's why we're here, because there is no
You can't
curvature.
even see the curvature.
There is
You
no
can map
curvature.
it.
That's why we're here.
That's not true.
That's what we can
actually
start
map
with.
it.
Whether we have a map or not, we can still observe the Earth and measure what we live on.
You can measure. You and your friends could measure the curvature of the Earth.
How? How do you do that?
2 sticks in the ground.
Essentially, you get a whole bunch of people measuring shadows, and yes, by triangulating, you would measure the curvature of the Earth. Yes, you can also measure the distance to the moon.
What are the internal angle, internal degrees of the triangle that makes, Brenda?
To the moon?
No, your little sticks. Yeah, is that a 180 degree triangle or one of those special triangles?
I don't know what you mean. You would be plotting. You would be essentially repeating the Eratosthenes measurements.
Silly.
That wasn't a measurement. That was a calculation. There's a big difference.
What's the difference?
That's what you should go out and figure out, Brenda. You should go out and ponder what the difference between a measurement and a calculation.
I think I
do know. And I think that will
Yeah.
get you on the road to understanding some of these more complex, difficult concepts.
So if I have 7 apples and I give you 2 apples, I have 5 apples. That's a calculation, right?
Now you're twisting your head all up. You're like,
that's a
just
calculation.
trying to twist it up, I think. Go out,
That's a
look at the
calculation,
definition
right?
of calculation, then go look at the definition of measurement, and see how
I
you
know
can
these things.
you can tell the difference.
So-
Okay.
Is the calculation, 7 minus 2 equals 5? Is that calculation false? Is that false?
That's a calculation. Here
Yeah,
is a
and it's
measurement.
true,
I have
isn't it?
5 apples, and I put my hand on the 5 apples, and I go, "There's 5 apples." No, I have 2 other apples. Here's 2 more. I see all 7 of them right before me.
That's a calculation.
That is a measurement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
No, that's
7.
a
You count them. They're
calculation.
all in front of you. There's no assumptions, no room for error, nothing. It's a measurement.
5. Right? No,
Brenda,
if 5 plus
hang
2
on, what
is
he's
a
trying to say
calculation.
that First, you have to prove there's apples.
5 plus 2 is no, you don't.
Before you start counting the apples, why don't you first prove that there's 5 apples there? And then
we can just see them.
And then prove that there's 2 more apples. Then the math works really good. But first you got to find the 5 apples to go, there's the 5 apples.
Yeah, we can just see them.
And the other 2 apples and go, there's the 2 apples. And
Well,
then
the objection
works.
was that I was just doing calculations, and
Yeah, I know,
the
but-
fact that I'm doing calculations doesn't make it false.
Yeah, but
Right?
I can pull numbers out of my ass and then go, look, the moon is right where
No,
it's supposed to be.
no. Brender's twisting it now. We're not talking about only making calculations. We are saying a calculation is not a measurement.
Yeah. So what?
Lukaku said that.
It's
Oh,
still true.
now so what? Yeah.
Okay,
now
hold on.
so
Measure.
what? Calculations aren't measurements.
It's
Brenda,
still true.
You double talking motherfucker.
No, but it's still true.
What's still true? What the frick are you talking about?
The result of the calculation is true.
See, 5
In the
plus
case of the
You
apples,
claim
we
that
don't even
you
have any
measured.
apples.
7 minus 2 is 5.
And we're not talking about
is
fucking
true.
apples. We're not talking about apples. We're talking about
We're
Earth.
using it, right.
You have
and
to
we're using
identify
it-
that something exists before you can use it as a variable in a calculation.
Yeah. Do you think the sun doesn't exist?
Taking the bait. Take the bait. Go ahead.
What does this
Anyway, what
refer
else
to?
is going on, guys? Please,
So the
give me an
Eratosthenes
escape hatch.
experiment is measuring angles of shadows and where
It
the
wasn't an
sun is.
experiment, and it wasn't measuring.
Yeah, it's measuring.
It was
Yes.
all based. No, it was all based on nothing but begging the question fallacies. Okay,
No,
and it
begging
wasn't
the question.
measuring. It was calculation.
So it's still true. A calculation
No,
is
it's not.
true. Calculations are false.
You said he was measuring, and he wasn't.
If fine, he's calculating.
Listen, you're talking to Scrat. You're talking to a psychopath. Okay, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, this is just simple logic.
You are insane. No, you are insane. You're a psychopath.
Yes, I know. You need to poison the well. So 7
I'm not poisoning
minus
the well. I'm
7
pointing out
minus
the
2.
fact that
7
you
minus
are
2 is a
changing
calculation.
The way that you, right. Eratosthenes didn't measure anything.
He calculated.
Okay, great. Okay, great. That's not what you started this conversation on. The first thing you said, shut up.
His calculations
Shut
true?
up.
Hang
Shut up.
Hang on.
Shut up.
Schmo calculate.
His calculations were true.
Hold on.
Brenda,
No.
let Travis speak. I'm gonna have to mute you so he can speak. Go ahead.
Okay. You said the very first thing you said was Eratosthenes measured. And now we've got you flipped around, and now you're saying, yeah, he calculated. It's still true. He calculated. Okay. The issue was your first comment, which was measurement. He didn't measure anything.
Most people don't think that there's any real difference between calculating and
Now here
measuring.
you go with the spin. Here you go with the spin.
So the point is, his calculations were correct.
Well, the problem
They
is
were
that
based off of a begging the question fallacy.
yeah, I mean the thing with the
Makes
calculations
it all void.
that you're referring to, those calculations depend on a couple of variables that you're assuming. So when it comes to shadows, you can have, there's a couple variables that are going to affect what the shadows do. One of them, if you have a stick, on a surface, one of them is the shape of the surface, whether it's, a plane, a flat type of surface, or whether it's curved. The other one would be the distance and positioning of the sun. So even if you set this up on a small scale with a little toothpick, on a surface, as you move the light source, the position of it and the distance of it, you're going to get dramatically different shadows.
Yes.
And if you change the surface of the let's say the Earth in this little model, you can get changing. So the point is that you can calculate anything you want all day long, but if you're using assumptive calculations to begin with, then you're not actually getting any information about reality. You're just getting information around one particular setup, depending on however you have those variables assumed.
He controlled for those variables by choosing a time when it was the local solar moon.
No. How did he
Controlled those
control-
variables.
Okay. What variables did he control? Which ones?
The angle of the sun by taking the measurements at solar noon.
There is no angle of the sun at solar noon, right?
Well, it's 0.
There is no angle.
That's right. It's 0.
Okay. All right. Okay. And then what? Now what?
And then at another place, I forget the name of the town.
Cyrene.
He took the measurement of an angle at that same time.
Yep.
Rubbish. It's in your name, Brenda. In the Discord channel, it's in your name.
Following year, same time next year.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the same local
great.
noon.
Okay, great. Yeah, so great. Now you've got two angles. Yep. Okay, great. And you've got distance. Okay, so what?
Yeah, so you've controlled for those two variables.
Yeah, so you've got, okay, great. Hold on. Okay, so great. You've got distance because you measured out between Alexandria and Cyrene, and then you've got an angle. So what?
And then he was able to work out that it was 1/50th of 360 degrees.
360 degrees of what? Wait.
And they were dividing the circle into 60s,
Stop.
not 50s.
Stop,
Hang on.
please. Okay, stop,
Great
please.
mofo.
Okay, stop, please. Why are you bringing in 360 degrees? Where did you get that?
He already knew that the Earth was round.
Okay, great.
He wasn't
Okay,
trying
great.
to prove. He wasn't
Okay.
trying to prove.
Okay,
Just a minute.
hold
just
on.
a minute. Just let me finish. He wasn't trying to prove that the Earth is round. He was trying to measure its circumference.
I get that. Great. So now, as a good scientist, I would like to know how he knew the Earth was round.
Prior knowledge.
How? Okay, that is a non-answer. Do you?
From
Okay, do you
Aristotle.
know?
From Aristotle.
Okay, great.
From Aristotle.
Okay, great. What was Aristotle's knowledge?
It was inferences based on objects, ships going over the horizon, and the Earth's shadow on the moon.
Okay, so which one do you want to pick?
The shadow on the moon.
Okay, so how did he know that was the Earth's shadow on the moon?
Because there's nothing else in the way.
That doesn't mean that the Earth is the object.
Yeah, it does. If there's nothing else in
No.
the way, then
No.
the Earth is causing the shadow.
No. Could it be possible that there is a disturbance up in the sky that goes in between the moon and your view, and that's disturbing your
They would have seen that. They would have seen that, and
that's
since
not
they didn't see
necessarily
it,
true.
that's true. So
No,
it
it's
was.
not true.
Was it? Are you saying it was invisible?
Travis, Brenda's claiming there that when Aristotle looked up into the sky and saw the sun and the moon, which he would do on any day, I suppose, in ancient Greece, enjoying himself with a couple of olives, he looked at them and said, I can see those two objects clearly identified above me. I'm clearly blocking one.
That's not the argument,
There's no
Adam.
logical reason.
That's not
other
the
than
argument, Adam. You've
historical
misunderstood it.
narrative that you like to paint, which is unsubstantiated, Brenda. That
You've misunderstood the argument, Adam. Let me correct you.
Such as you would ascribe to Aristotle, would think that. It's only what you
Right,
ascribe
so-
posthumously
so
to
I'm-
support your narrative, isn't it?
So-
Ellen, or should
you've
I say-
misunderstood.
Should I say?
Brenda,
should I
shut up.
say Brenda? I say Brenda, but maybe I should say Ellen of Cyrene. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
So,
With that knowledge of you,
are you done yet?
Such a fantastic knowledge that you named yourself after the second place. Yeah. You snatched your own wig off tonight, Brenda. That's shocking that you didn't know the name of the second place, Ellen of Cyrene.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm named after. Adam is misunderstanding the argument. The argument is that the Greeks observed multiple eclipses, lunar eclipses, and
we're talking about Aristotle.
I'm talking.
We're talking about Aristotle only right now.
I'm talking. So they observed.
Talking about Aristotle only.
So
Okay?
they observed multiple eclipses.
It is an assumption. It is an assumption that you are making about what Aristotle
No,
viewed,
it's
okay?
based on
There's
observations.
No proof. It's an assumption. How did,
It's based on observation.
Yeah, it's an observation. That's correct. Okay, that's
Yeah, it's
correct.
based.
He
That's
has
not
an
an assumption
observation.
then.
No, Brenda, you took it back to Aristotle, right? And basically, your proof
He wrote about
that
it.
the world was round based on Aristotle was that you said Aristotle would have looked at an eclipse and said, "I'm in the way." I said to you, "Well, that can be easily logically objected against, right? By looking at what he would have seen in the sky." So what we're asking you is, going to go back to Aristotle. What is the evidence that such a person
I've
of
been
high
trying to tell you, but you keep
certainly
interrupting
wouldn't
me.
have used Brendonian logic, would he? With that ridiculousness. So we're asking you, honestly, what was the validity that Aristotle gave to Aristosthenes for him to know that it was on a ball, so we could just go away and pre-assume that?
So I've been trying to explain, but I keep getting
Without
interrupted.
begging the question.
Like this,
Without
like
begging
this.
the question.
Like this. So what he did is they observed multiple lunar eclipses and noticed that the shadow cast by the Earth was round from all directions, and they deduced that the only object that casts a consistently round shadow is a sphere, and so therefore it was most likely that the Earth was a sphere. So
That's brilliant.
Aristosthenes,
Brenda,
excuse me. No, but you don't get to
You just
interrupt.
said is wrong.
No, that's not.
You're
That's
saying they
correct.
made it up. They made it up because they thought the Earth was round and they saw a round
You think
shadow.
it-
They said,
Yes.
"Wow." So they had to pre-assume once again the Earth
not an
was
assumption,
round.
it's an
to
inference.
Pre-assume that it's going to cast a round shadow, didn't they?
What object
Did they, have
casts
to,
a?
did they have to pre-assume the Earth was round to cast a round shadow?
No, they
No, they
deduced
didn't.
it.
So if they didn't have to pre-assume it, then how did they know it was round?
Because
your
it
last
casts
proof
a.
was, your last
because it-
proof was that it cast a
So
round shadow.
if you ask
So
me a question,
given
you have
that-
to allow me to
given that-
answer.
Given that your last proof isn't a proof, what is the
It
proof
is.
that
It's
it's
an
going to cast
inference.
a round shadow? What did they know? How did they know it was going to cast a round shadow?
because they
Failed
saw multiple lunar eclipses. It always casts a rounded shadow.
No,
The
we're back to
only
the first
object that
point.
always
No, we're
casts
back to
a
the
round
first point,
shadow
Brenda.
is a globe.
That's terrible. That's just disingenuous. You're going
What's
back to
wrong
your
with
first
it?
point
What's
before you
How
put
many
your shame
fucking
on the engineer.
questions do we have to hear? How
They
many of these fallacies do we have to listen to?
It's
Could you
completely
name the
incorrect anyway,
fallacy?
because
Could you
a
name the
coin,
fallacy?
a
What if it
coin.
was
Taking the
flat?
question.
If you don't like Brenda's answer, then the other way that they already knew that is the Greeks at this time were an ocean-going people. They already knew it because they had traveled the surface of the earth. They know it because sailboats do not work on
and the
a.
surface of the ocean
Yeah, but
is
they didn't
flat. That's the one.
circumnavigate the
Navigation
globe.
is done. Could somebody please prove to me that lunar eclipses are real? Because I'm pretty sure that nothing occurs to the moon.
Well,
that there's only like a shadow and a coloration.
Okay, well, let's.
lunar eclipse.
But the Greeks did not circumnavigate the globe.
That's not an eclipse.
A lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse is the name
No, there's no
that
such
gives
thing, Brenda.
particular
let's go back
phenomenon.
to. Okay, hold on. Let's go back to this gentleman's claim that the Greeks knew that they were on a globe because of circumnavigation.
No. I apologize if I said that.
The Greeks did not circumnavigate the globe.
Correct.
Okay,
The
can
Greeks
you
were never
settle-
able to circumnavigate. They were
Okay,
a
hold on.
seagoing nation, but they
Yes,
did
you're
not
right.
have circumnavigation.
But that's what you started out with. So are you going to correct what your statement was, or are you?
If I accidentally
He never
said
said
that, I
take it off the
apologize.
table.
If I accidentally said circumnavigation, I apologize.
You didn't. Somebody else said it.
What I meant was they were an ocean-going. They're ocean-going and use stellar navigation.
Yeah, that's correct. You didn't say that. You didn't say that.
What he said was sailing would not work on a globe.
Yeah.
I mean, on
Okay.
a
So
flat
great.
plane.
Okay,
That's what he said.
Right. Okay. So great. Right now, again, because you're making this claim, where do you establish this knowledge? Is there a claim that you can go back to where you have a primary source of a Greek mariner who says
We have their
that
charts.
excuse me?
We have their charts.
You have their chart. Okay, would you mind putting that link in of this
Sure, I'll find it for you.
ancient Greek?
So how come the Greeks could prove that the Earth was a curved ball, and nobody after them was able to prove it? How come in today's world? They do what's known as plain sailing, where they treat the ocean as completely flat, and the Earth is flat.
The sextant proves that the Earth is a globe.
The sextant
Brian.
proves that it's not a globe.
Oh my God!
No, it doesn't. No, it
It
doesn't.
does.
Brenda, shut
Okay.
up.
Hold on.
Tell us
Can
how
I-
the sextant works, Brenda.
Can I address
Come on,
the
Brenda.
sextant claims?
No, leave her off now. Leave her off. Let's hear her. Let's hope Rumpus and Boyle Jewel and all these other people come in. Tell us how the sextant works, Brenda. Tell us what it does. How do you find your location? If there's been a storm and you're at sea and you don't know where you are, how do you find your location using the sextant?
Well, today you use charts. You cite the sun, right, and get the angle, and then you look it up.
Angle,
in
you
charts.
say? Angle? Sure, that's
Yes,
not possible.
yes.
Yeah. And
Why
what would
isn't
you
it
do with
not
this
possible?
angle? How would you get that on a curved surface? What good would that be to you?
No, it's the angle from I'm at the apex of the angle, right, from the sun to the horizon.
And then where? Sun, right, so that's like sun to the horizon is one line. Where's the other two lines?
They can
Hold
be
on.
calculated.
Brenda, you were wrong, ma'am. I apologize.
Hang on.
Go
The other
ahead,
two
Ben.
lines.
You
Go
don't
ahead.
do.
No, I don't.
you-
No, Brenda. Sorry. Leave Brenda there. Brenda's after making this claim. So there's one line of a triangle from the sun to the horizon, and then you're missing two other lines to that triangle there, Brenda.
Yeah. Do you know what the Haversine formula is?
Where are the other two lines, Brenda?
Hold on, Brenda.
Do you know what the
before-
Haversine?
Before you get away
I
from it.
don't need you coming in. Sorry. Please
Brian.
leave Brenda.
No white knighting for Brenda.
No, we don't need you.
I don't care about
You
Brenda.
can
I
come in
care about
after Brenda.
sailboats.
You're welcome to come in after Brenda. You're welcome to come in after Brenda. And if you think you can debunk the sextant and how it works, then you're totally welcome to do that. So, Brenda, where are those other two lines? There's one line of the triangle from the sun to the horizon. Where
You
are
would
the other two?
calculate the you would calculate the distance from the
Calculate?
G.
Calculate? Why would you be calculating at this point?
Am I going to be allowed to talk or not?
Well, I have to correct you when you were stating stuff. That's
So
incorrect.
I'm not going to
Because
be allowed to talk.
You stated that the sextant proves the globe.
So you would calculate.
Yeah, you knew that.
So you would calculate, right? the
Why would you
distance.
calculate? Why would you be calculating at that stage? You only
So
have
if you're
one
not
line.
going to allow me to
You have a
talk,
line
I
from
won't
the
answer.
horizon to the sun.
If you're not going to, if you're going to interrupt me, I'm not going to.
Where
answer,
are the other
Brian.
two lines? You said angle. That's three.
Are you
straight
going to
lines,
let me
Brenda.
speak? Are you going to let me speak, Brian?
Brender, what are you calculating?
Brenda, not if you're going to be talking a load of rubbish. You made a claim, and you're not able to support.
So you're not
Listen,
going to allow me to
you
talk.
can't support your claim.
Yeah, Brian, I
So
get
you're
it,
not going to
Brian.
allow me to talk.
Brian, you're totally right. Brender, what's your first value that you're going to calculate? Where did you get your value?
If you want to calculate your distance from the
How did you know the
GP,
distance?
so if you're going to interrupt me, I'm just not going to answer.
No, leave her talk. Leave her talk. She's not about GP. Leave her off, Travis.
So if you're going to calculate your distance from the GP to you, one method you could use would be the Haversine formula.
Go on. How do you do that then? Go on. Tell us about it.
The Haversine formula is basically theta equals d over r.
Okay. How do you do it? Yeah, but what do you actually do? What do you
It
do?
uses the laws of cosines
Yeah.
to calculate the distance on a curved sphere.
All right. So that's how you
Right.
find your location. That's how you triangulate yourself with a sextant, is it?
With using spherical
That's not right,
trigonometry
Brian.
and the law
I know,
of
I know.
cosines.
No, Brian, can I just add to that? The law of
walk away, Adam.
cosines. Yeah, you use the law of cosines and sines. You want to calculate, given certain knowledge, angles and distances within a non-right-angled triangle. Now, this is not commensurate with navigation, which is the whole premise of the way it's calculated is with regards to forming a right-angled triangle across the flat plane.
No.
You're taking the measurement. So you may
That's
want to
just-
cite that, but it's kind of
Hold on.
irrelevant to navigation because fundamentally, that's not what people do when they're navigating. It's a complete distraction, Brenda.
But what you're saying is completely wrong, sir. With all due respect, I posted a manual for exactly how to.
No,
use
let's hear what
Excel.
this guy has to say. Because this guy keeps coming in. Okay, you're after being in a
Hey.
storm. You don't know where you are. You're in the middle of the Atlantic
Hey,
Coast.
Brian, why don't you
How
shut
do you
the fuck up
triangulate
and
your
let him
position?
talk, dude?
Hang on, I'll let him
Okay.
talk.
You
I'm
don't have to
speaking at the
butt in
moment.
when
Right.
somebody just starts talking.
You want
Jake.
to
Shut
know
up.
how I would do it?
Oh, no, this guy. Hang on, this guy.
He's
seems
not
to-
able to. He's not able to.
Yeah,
I'm not
let
able to listen to
somebody answer
bullshit.
your
That's what I'm not able
questions.
to do. No,
Let
anyway.
somebody answer your questions,
Yeah,
dude.
have I finished
ask a
speaking yet?
question and then
Sorry,
shut
have
up.
I finished
How's that?
speaking? Sorry, have I
Yes,
finished
you had
speaking?
finished. Yes,
Have
you
I
had.
finished speaking?
Yes, you had.
No, I
but
haven't
Other
finished
people
speaking.
were
I was in
talking.
the middle of speaking when this guy came in to
No,
white knight
you
for
weren't.
this
You
other guy.
paused.
This other guy stated, this other guy who was white knighting for you, Brenda, kept on coming in, and now he keeps stating that what we're saying is totally incorrect, or we haven't even said that yet. And now this other guy is coming in to white knight for him. I wonder who's going to white
Because
knight
it's
for this
annoying
third
to listen
guy.
to you talk over people.
I
ask a
don't care
question,
whether
and
you're
then
annoyed
run
by
your
me.
mouth.
Hey, let's
are
not
to me
start this
whatever.
interrupting shit. Please give everybody a chance to speak.
Hey, can I?
Then
I'm
tell
sorry.
Brian to shut the fuck up.
Okay, just
The
real
law
quick.
of sine,
Not
the law
necessary.
of sine, the law of cosine argues, Adam is correct, that you can use the law of sine, the law of cosine to calculate without using a right angle triangle. That's the law of sine is for, period, the end of story. That's what it's actually used for. In other words, an example would be if you're trying to measure the height of something in the distance, and you had two points of observation, and you know the angle of those 2 points of observation and the distance between those 2 points of angles of observation, using the law of sine, you can calculate the apparent height of that point. That's the whole point. Adam's correct. That's what the law of sine is for.
Yeah, but the problem with that is, hang on, let me just lay out the problems. I'm not there right there.
Data, your
For
mic's
start,
fucked up.
but you don't have 2 points. You just have 1 point. You just have you.
In the example of law of sine, in this particular case, if you have a known distance between 2 points and an angle of both those points in a known distance, you can use the law of sine calculation to get an answer of a height distance.
Data, your mic.
That's
Your
not
microphone.
how you use the sextant.
Yeah, but the
Everybody
claim was,
sextant?
hang on, Phil. Okay, Phil, you tell us, right? You've been at this on the ocean, and there's been a storm. You don't know where you are. How do you triangulate your position using a sextant?
It's not a triangulation.
Yes, it is. You're completely
No, it's
wrong.
not. It's not. It's got to do with the sun.
What is the circle of equal altitude, Phil?
You don't know what the circle of
equal altitude.
You don't know what the circle of equal altitude is, Brian.
Shut up!
up,
I'll
Brenda.
explain to you how to do this. If everybody just be quiet for a second, I'll explain how to use a sextant.
I'm asking you. You're lost at sea.
Just be
right?
quiet,
You have
and
a
I'll tell you.
sextant. You have a sextant, right? How do you triangulate your position?
I'm just about to tell you how to use a sextant.
No, I'm
Right,
asking you a question. I already know about a sextant.
Just be quiet, and I'll tell you how to do it. You
Okay, off you go.
obviously have never used a sextant in your hand. You've never had one in your hand, have you?
Yeah, I did.
Can I
This is
take
how
that?
you do it.
Can I
Let's
take
see.
that point?
No, just wait.
Yeah, well, I've got a sextant in my hand here. If you want to see a picture
Good.
of
You
me,
point.
it's on Nathan's
Good.
channel.
You point.
Me showing it. So
Point the
I
scope
suppose
at the horizon.
Is a poison in the well. It makes no
Yeah.
sense in
He's
terms
not-
of
he-
justifying your
Let's go
position,
at the horizon.
Professor Phil, for you to say
Just
you've never
wait.
held a sextant.
Can you just
as
not
if to
shut up? Are you
imply
just not
that
incapable
doesn't
of
mean you don't
understanding
know
how to shut
it
up?
works. That's nonsense.
Shut up.
No, it's
Take
just
turns,
nonsense.
take turns.
Just wait till I explain to you.
No, you've already just told me
Part
part of your explanation is to claim that somebody's never held a sextant, as if that validates them not understanding it.
Just shut up, and I'll explain to you how to use the sextant.
That's the
Phil, you
premise
can't
to your
interrupt.
argument. God knows
Guys,
what's going to follow.
No interrupting, please.
If you shut up, I'll explain to you how to use a sextant.
Oh, I don't need
I'm
you
not-
to explain to me how to
No,
use a
you
sextant.
just want to make
I've
up your
got
own
one
version of how
here.
to use it, right?
I've got one here, Professor Phil.
Well, you
Yeah.
don't know how to use it.
I do know how to use it. I understand it. I don't need you to patronize me, right? To kind of validate in some way that the sex, the way it works.
What the
your
hell?
position.
Then
It
you
doesn't.
you
It
say you know how to
doesn't.
use
And
it.
Phil, you
rambling
keep interrupting.
on.
Come on,
Let me
man.
test
20
the knowledge.
minutes about how a sextant works won't help the ball position. So
Yes,
let's
it
all
will.
assume we
Because it can
understand.
only work.
Let's all
only
credit
work
each
on a
other
sphere.
with the intelligence of maybe just you.
Why are you running
professorship
interference, Adam?
right?
Why are you running interference,
I'm
Adam?
just talking to him. Shut
No,
up.
no,
Brendan,
you're
running
just
interference.
running
That is
interference.
ultimate projection you came in with there, Brendan.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah,
Absolutely fantastic.
Let's hear Phil what he has to say then.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Phil doesn't get that much of a chance to speak on the show, so let's
with the
give him the floor.
understanding that we all understand how a sextant works. We don't need patronizing on that. Let's move forward,
Exactly.
Phil, without your basic, what is it, GCSE level science. Yeah, let's move forwards. Give us the credit that we understand it and explain from there.
Mr. Meekin, with all respect,
I would just like to say one thing
Hold on.
before Phil
with all
speaks.
due respect, there's been quite a few number of videos that have been released on this subject in the last few days, and the videos are very misleading, if not outright wrong.
Do you have any substantive criticisms that you can offer against the content of the videos?
Are you going to listen to how to use a sextant or not?
Hang on a second, Phil.
Yeah, and then we'll come back to you.
Wait.
We don't need the basic shit like Adam said, Phil.
Yeah.
But we'll come back to
You don't need-
the other guy
you
in a
don't need
minute.
to know how to use the sextant. Is that right? Is that what I
Okay,
heard
I
you say?
just want to state that Professor Phil already claimed that triangulation has nothing to do with the sextant.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
That's
Now,
false.
you
Straight away.
stand by that, Phil, yes? You stand by that, Phil?
Of course I do.
Okay, so you explain to me how you triangulate yourself using the circles of equal altitude.
You don't.
Wait,
Well,
Phil,
I
he
can
changed the
get
question
official
on you.
information now.
He changed the
I
question
can
on
get
you,
official
and you
information.
can.
Sorry, are you Phil?
No, I was helping you out, dude. Calm down.
I don't need your help.
Oh man, he went there, dude. Shit.
Are you
What am I
ready
supposed
now
to do? I
learn
mean,
how to
I'm speaking. You're coming in. This other guy coming to speak over me, and he says he's helping me. How are you helping
You
me?
have a lot of gall complaining about people.
All right,
interrupting you
let's
there,
just
Brian.
guys,
all
let's
you.
not get all meta and shit. Brian, Brenda, please go ahead and address Phil, Brian.
Okay,
Thank
I'm
you,
ready
Brandon.
to. I'm
Yes.
ready to explain how to use a sextant.
So, do the circles of equal altitude exist, Phil?
Just listen to how to use the
Do the
sextant.
circles of equal altitude exist?
I'm going
when
to
using a
explain to you how to use the sextant.
Do the
Would you
circles
like to
of
know?
equal altitude exist?
All
Yes
right,
or
I
no?
will only ask you one more time, and that'll be it. You want to
Brandon,
learn how to use
he's
the
not
sextant?
being honest. He's not answering that question.
Do you
That's a very
want to
straight
learn
question.
how to use the sextant or not?
Nobody
No,
does,
I
Phil.
don't want to learn.
Listen,
Okay.
nobody wants
Bye-bye.
to listen to your
He's not
lesson.
asking
Yeah,
how to
bye,
learn.
Phil.
He's not asking how to
Bye-bye.
learn.
Look,
I
to the
think-
persons on your side there, I'm sorry for getting short with you, but when I hear someone speaking in over me, I have to think it's a baller. I have no choice.
I am a baller.
You do have a choice,
Well, why
Brian.
you weren't coming in to help me then, were you?
No, I
You were
was.
coming in to
You
get in the way. That's what you're doing.
All right,
Okay.
it's fine. It's over. Now I think you had some substantive criticism. I can't remember your name. I apologize.
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid, that's right. Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid, I think Brian or you were referring to Brian's video and maybe a couple others. Is
I
that
do
correct?
apologize. I haven't seen Brian specifically.
Does he agree with? Do you agree with Phil on the sextant
Hey,
not
Data,
being?
he's about to give us his substantive criticism. Let's go ahead. Let him say what he was going to say.
The one that I was given yesterday and the one that I've been looking at is the Mitchell from Australia that was released. There's about 3 different glaring issues with it. One is he shows the star fields as a celestial sphere that moves as the ship moves across the surface of the water, which is correct, but it would only work on a globe. 2, his explanation of the circles of equal altitude are completely wrong. That's not the way circles of equal altitude work. And his final claim about the where you could use 2 ships on circles of equal altitude in order to triangulate a single position on Earth is misleading. The only way that would work is if you use the time element. Never at any point in these conversations do you all bring up time, but time is one of the most important factors in making a sextant reading.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to start with point 2. Then we go to point 1, and then I'll explain point 3 to you. I think you got that wrong. What he was trying to explain. Point 2. Right. You said that's not how you get a circle of equal altitude. Okay. Would you do me just one favor? First of all, give a brief description of what the circle of equal altitude is.
The briefest, and I apologize, Brandon. The link to the video we're discussing is in chat. The briefest description I can give is it is the circle on the sphere on the surface of the Earth that will have the stellar observation, be it a star or the sun, doesn't really matter, being at the same apparent angle.
Yeah, it's not elevation, Brian. It's not elevation.
You
understand that, Brian? It's not
Hey,
elevation.
Brenda, let's have a back and forth between Kool-Aid and Brian. Just stay out of it. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, Brenda, she got her chance already. Now, so on this circle of equal altitude, okay, because you're saying that what Mitchell, I only saw glimpses of Mitchell, so I can't really say it about it. But on the circle of equal altitude, will it have a straight radius and a straight diameter?
Straight radius, straight. I apologize. I don't understand what you mean by that.
Well, to have a circle, you're going to have a radius line, yeah? Because from your position to the GP of the celestial body is your radius.
Oh, okay.
Can the radius line be curved?
Well, no, because the plane of the circle would transect the Earth. If you
When you
look
say
at
transect, what do you mean?
So your
through.
azimuth, right? Your azimuth, right? As you
I
move
don't think-
along, you're going in
hang
going in a
One
circumference,
second, leave him off.
a
Tata,
two-dimensional
please.
circle.
FED, come on.
Tata, please, leave him
So
off. You said
I posted
transect. What do you mean?
Yeah, I posted a manual of a
Yeah,
sextant.
okay, but I want you to
If
know
you
what.
look at page, you look at page number 8. Those planes that it draws through the Earth are transecting the Earth.
Right, so you're talking about a chord. You're talking about running a chord line through the globe, treating the globe as a side-on circle and running a chord through that. Is what you're speaking about, yes? Is that correct?
I maybe. I'm
A,
not sure.
a line like that's a straight line through a section
He just
of
said
a section of
maybe.
a circle.
You don't know? Come on,
Hold
man.
on, Travis.
No, I don't know. I'm being honest.
It's okay not to know.
Well,
He's
how can you
actually being
state then that
respectful.
Mitchell was incorrect? How can you say that Mitchell was incorrect then? Because if he has stated, like, the point I'm making is, if you run that chord line through a section of, let's say you treat the globe out as a side-on circle, and you run a chord line then through that as a diameter of a circle of equal altitude, that chord line that you've run through there, that won't fit the coordinates. The chord line will be less in length than the arc of the sphere that will reside within that circle of equal altitude. So if you're taking a distance across the ocean, and that distance is like for a radius to like your position to the GP of a celestial body, and that's like 2,500 miles, 2,500 miles, then
right, but
that you can't run
hold on.
through. You can't.
You never do
That
that.
would be a 5,000 mile diameter, right?
That is.
But if you
that
try
is
run
never.
1 second,
That is never
hang on.
done.
If you it's done all the time. If you run that through as a chord through a sphere, that means you're placing that circle directly onto that circle of equal altitude, which has a straight radius and diameter, and you're placing that directly onto, which is a 2-dimensional circle, onto a 3-dimensional sphere. That chord line that you run through, that diameter, will always be less in distance than the arc that will reside within it. So your coordinates and your placements will be all out all the time. They'll never fit. Because if that's 5,000 miles in diameter, that circle, then the arc that resides within it is probably about 7,000 miles. So that's impossible for a star. Secondly, all of the stars will have to have parallel zeniths.
I apologize. Before you move on to the next point, you're saying because the chord difference is different than the surface of the Earth, it doesn't work? I'm sorry. That doesn't change the fact that the angle that I'm reading on my sextant
you can't get an angle
I'm reading.
of surface. You have to treat the surface.
I can't get
the
an
surface
angle
of
off
the
my
Earth.
sextant?
No,
That's
you have
all
to
my
treat the
sextant does.
for the circle of equal altitude. You have to treat the surface of the Earth as flat.
No.
What you're talking about is running a chord through.
No, it wouldn't work on a flat surface, actually.
It only works on a flat surface. It can't work on anything else. It doesn't work on any. I just told you why your chord through your sphere won't work. It's an impossibility. But that's only one circle of equal altitude.
But that
That's
doesn't
not
change any.
the second and third one.
Hold on. That's not how we use sextant. That's not how sextants
Yes, it is.
work.
Yes, it is.
Well, then every sailor is doing it wrong.
No, everyone
That's
that's
how I
using
was taught in Navy school.
The Marine,
everybody who's using the
Go
sextant,
from the horizon
Hang on.
upwards.
Yeah, right. And do you get an angle?
Where are you getting your
hold
angle?
Hold on.
Where are you getting your angle from?
From my sextant. I'm reading it.
No, okay. Your angle comes right. So where does your angle start? What's the first thing you do after you take an angle? What's the first thing you do?
Mark the time.
Yeah, but besides time, right? What do you do? What correction do you have to make? What's your first correction you must make?
The first correction I must make is for refraction.
No.
And then it depends whether or not I'm doing a longitude or latitudinal.
You don't because you work above 15 degrees above the horizon. The first correction is a horizon dip angle. Horizon dip correction.
Yeah,
That's
so
your first correction.
the first and most important observation you do with a sextant is your sunrise and sunset, where the sun is well below that.
You don't use a sextant below 15 degrees above the horizon because
So
of refraction.
all of those times that I sat on the deck of my ship and did a sunrise sextant navigation, I was doing it wrong.
Yeah, you were.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway,
You have to
use a
understand
sextant
the
below that
geniuses that
because
you're
you
dealing
can't
with.
get. Sorry, Brenda, you had your chance and you
So,
proved to be not. You
when-
proved to
when
not know
these-
what you're talking about.
when these
and
readings-
unfortunately, this man has proven the same.
When these readings gave me a distance and a heading, and I followed that distance and heading, and
Yeah.
I'm
I
sorry,
want to get
dude.
back to the circles
I'm
of
not
equal
going to talk
altitude.
over you.
Because you were
Hold on,
stating a certain thing. Look, he's gone off into what he did, something that he can't support, and it's like stories about what he did. I don't want to hear about that. Because if he really knew how to use a sextant, he would have known what an horizon dip correction was. He would have known that the
No
course
horizon dip connection. That's not a connect. That's not a. No.
You
It's
didn't
not-
know what that was.
It's not a thing.
It is a thing. Horizon dip correction. That's
Horizon
what you have
dip
to do.
is, or the globe Earth wouldn't.
Show me the
Rise up to
correction
eye level?
for horizon dip correction.
I'll
in
bring it
the
up.
Manual I provided.
I'll bring it up.
Yeah, horizon dip correction. It has to be done because your angle starts at the water, not at your eyes or at your feet. It
No,
starts at the water.
Wrong.
Yes, it does.
In
yes,
fact,
it does.
most of the
Yeah.
time we
Horizon
average
dip
it to the.
correction how can you get a straight line to the horizon then?
You can point at it.
How can you get an angle? You don't have a flat
point at it.
baseline.
You point at it. You're saying what I'm pointing at
you don't
isn't a
know.
straight line?
Yeah,
So
but that's you have
you
to
point
make
in a
yeah,
curve?
if you're standing on a ship, okay, if you're standing on a boat and that boat,
I know you probably
the deck of
pee
that
in a
boat,
circle,
if the
but
deck, if the
you
deck of
point in a
that
circle
boat, hang
too?
on, let me explain it. Why come you're stopping me? If you
Because
if the
you
deck
never
of
let
that
me
boat,
talk.
if the deck of that boat, because you don't know what you're talking about.
Brian, where are your
If the
manners?
deck of that boat,
Brenda,
right,
shut up.
Where
the
are your
deck of that
manners?
Brian, you do
That's
have to
not
let him
cool,
speak.
dude.
If the deck of the boat is 10 foot above the water and your oil line is 5 foot or 6 foot above that deck, then you must take that 15 or 16 feet, right? You must correct your angle for that because you must bring the vertex of the angle down to the water. That's how you do it. That's how
If you
you
look
get
at my
your angle.
screen, sorry, Brian. If you look at my screen, you'll see a table called a correction table for dip of the horizon. This is in a document named Sextant Correction Tables, published in 2020.
We'll say, as far as I'm aware, you're both actually spot on there. You can actually do the horizon corrections and the calculations below 10 degrees. It's just that there's a massive difference in refraction.
Right.
Brian is correct that you do have to account for your ships because you're well above the actual sea level. So you have to account for that dip, that minor fraction of a dip plus refraction.
So I have a question just real quick. So Gleam, is Brian talking about avoiding having to do extra work by subtracting the refraction of the less than 15 degrees, and Kool-Aid wants to look into the refraction and then have to do extra work? Is that the difference I'm hearing right now?
I think
Yes.
it's more that it's more that obviously below the 10-degree marker, 15, 10 degree, whichever is different some ways, but below that marker there is a significant shift. We know this because of the sun advances half a degree.
But
Yeah.
Kool-Aid, you said yes then?
Yes.
Did you? Okay, so
Most of my observations, and definitely the most important ones, were the sunrise and sun.
Okay, great. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So Brian, right? I hear what you're saying, but I also hear what Kool-Aid's saying. So you hear that he's saying that he's just simply adding more work for him to do.
Yeah, but the problem was, Travis, that when I asked him what correction you have to make, he didn't know. That meant that he has never made a circle of equal altitude. He's never done the horizon dip correction. When I said to him, circle of equal altitude could have a radius of 2,500 miles, he said, you'd never have that. That tells me what he knows about it. No offense, Kool-Aid, but you might have some knowledge about the sextant, But you've
Right,
never
yeah.
triangulated your position at sea.
I've
You've
only
never-
used it to sail around the globe. I definitely don't know much about it.
Well, I don't know how you were sailing around the globe if you didn't even know what the circle of equal altitude was. Because anyone who'd use a sextant. But you didn't know.
No,
You
I was
said
the one
that,
who defended.
you said that it would never have a
shit.
radius of 2,500 miles. You didn't know what a rise and dip angle correction was, and you were bringing your line, right, of measurement, because that straight line radius and diameter, that is your actual measurement. That is your measurement. And you were bringing that through as a chord line through the globe, which means that you are going to have all your coordinates and placements messed up because the arc is going to be more in distance than the diameter. You know what I mean? And how are you going to, your original angles then, that you're going to have to use a 90 degree, like you have to use a 90 degree to get an angle. You know, I don't know how you're going to do that on a curved surface. And as soon as you start putting it into a globe, you change all the angles to the stars, the original angles.
The 90-degree angle is somewhere out in space we don't care about because it's
It's not out in space. Otherwise, you can't do triangle. You can't do it then.
You don't do
You can't run a
triangulation
chord.
off
You
one.
can't run a chord
Hold on.
through-
You don't.
through
You never do triangulation on one.
Brian, you have to let him respond, Brian.
Sorry. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
You don't do triangulation off one observation. The reason it's called
No, you
triangulation
use
is
2 or
because
3.
dude, I'm going to be done the next time. Okay, let me talk. You need
But you're
multiple
trying to talk.
observations.
You didn't know any of this a
Brian.
few minutes ago.
Jesus Christ, what a fucking child.
Brian, just give him 30 seconds and then you can respond.
You never do triangulation off one measurement. You need multiple angles in order to get a triangulation. What you're talking about and needing the 90-degree angle to be on the surface of the Earth, that's if you're trying to do a triangulation with one measurement, not something that's done in real life.
That's incorrect. That's totally incorrect. 100%, 100,000,000% incorrect. And every official source is.
Can I jump in?
1 second.
Can I just
One
jump
second,
in real quick,
Travis.
Brian?
Hold on.
Okay.
Are you leaving Travis in, Brandon? Or Brandon? Oh.
I thought you weren't
It
finished.
just seems to me.
No,
Brian,
I thought you were telling me to hold on.
Yeah, I get it. Listen, I get it. It seems to me that we have a failure to communicate, okay? You and I, Brian, we all know that they changed their methodology to fit their model. So it seems to me he's describing what he does on his model. So just like Phil said you don't do triangulation, he's also now saying you don't do triangulation. So now you have to understand that they've eliminated what you understand the old school way was. They've eliminated it. They don't need it.
They haven't, and I'll tell you why, and this is for the audience. If I take a 40-degree angle to something, right, something above the horizon, some celestial body, then that means that there's 50 degrees, right, that are from 90. 40 is 50. Right, we'll leave you 50 degrees from 90. So that means there's 50 degrees multiplied by 69 miles, or 60 if you want to do nautical, right? That will be your distance, right? That will be your radius to the GP of that celestial body. So that is a straight line distance. And when you make a diameter out of that, which you will have to create your circle of equal altitude, that will be a straight line distance. So let's just say your radius is 3,000 miles. Your diameter will be 6,000 miles. But that will be a 6,000 mile straight line flat measurement. They're trying to put that circle, 2D circle, onto a 3D sphere and just think everything is normal. It isn't. First thing goes wrong is your distances are all wrong, your coordinates and placements. Because the circumference of that circle is now in a completely different placement because the distances across the arc that resides within it are greater than the diameter of the circle. So straight away they debunk themselves when they do that. So when he's talking about
you can account for that, Brian.
It's accounted for, and the word is transection.
Secondly, when you do that, secondly, when you do that, right? But why would you need to account for it? When
Because
the distances are working.
Listen,
Yeah.
they have changed it. They have
Oh, I know what they do. I've seen the book.
Yeah, that's all they've done. They've just done a shell game. They've completely changed the model.
Now, He says, like, tell me what you do. I want to hear, because what you just said, you account for that. Right? When you put that 2D circle onto that 3D sphere, how do you account for the difference in distance between the diameter of the 2D circle and the arc that resides within it now? What do you do?
So, once again, it's a transection plane that transects.
No, transection means you're putting a line through. A transection means you're putting a line through your sphere, which means you're using flat measurements.
Got it. You win. Transection. It's not
Yeah, you're using
circle,
flat
it's a
measurements. You're not
transection.
using. It doesn't work. That will not work. The
Brian.
flat diameter, the straight diameter. Sorry.
You did it again.
Kool-Aid.
You keep cutting him
Kool-Aid,
off.
just real quick. Kool-Aid.
Just let him finish his.
I didn't hear what Brandon said.
No,
just let him finish speaking when he's responding.
Okay, but listen.
Okay, sorry, maybe Pastor jump in.
Okay, again though, whether or not you call it a transection or whatever, his question still applies. How do you take a flat measurement, which is the diameter, and then transpose it now back to an arc?
Yeah, you can't do that because the distances are two different distances, and they never do that. That's the thing about it, Travis.
You can
They don't
measure
do that.
distances. You can measure
They never
distances,
do
Brian.
that. It doesn't. What's the point in creating your circle of equal altitude in the first place, Brenda? Then the whole lot would be pointless if you want to do that.
You can measure.
exactly
You can't measure distances. The whole point
you
of this
can.
is that you don't do that.
Dude, man.
Yeah,
Don't
you
ever
can.
do that. Just for
on
the
the
audience,
surface-
don't ever do that. They use the flat. Sorry, Brenda won't let me talk. They use the straight line flat measurement. That's what they use. That is. They don't go trying to transfer. They don't go trying to change it to some kind of a spherical thing. They don't do any of that.
Yes, you do. You use the
No,
Habermas
you don't,
formula.
Brenda.
Yes,
Brenda,
you do.
there's no point in speaking on it. If you already proved earlier when I put you on
Habermas
it, you know
formula.
nothing about it.
The Habermas formula.
No,
can
you don't
calculate
use
the
it.
distance
Hold
on
on,
the
just real
surface
quick.
of a
Okay.
sphere.
Okay, great.
She's just
Kool-Aid.
rubbish.
Okay, Kool-Aid. Do you use the Habermas formula?
Yes.
Okay. When does that come into play for you?
When translating the measurements.
Which measurement? I don't know. I don't know. I'm asking you which measurement. The transection?
Yes.
Okay, so now we're back to Brian's
When putting
question.
it on a map.
Hold on. Now we're back to Brian's question, and the answer is: how do you take your transection diameter and convert it to an arc? It's the formula that Brenda just brought up, right?
Right.
Okay, that was our question before, and you didn't answer, so it's really suspicious.
I apologize. I got confused.
That doesn't happen, Travis. It doesn't happen, Travis. They use the straight line distance. That's what you use. You have to, because you have
That's
to get
not true, Brian.
two
Let
other,
him
you have to get
answer.
at least
Let him
one,
answer.
maybe two.
How do you
other
translate?
circles of equal altitude?
What do you mean by translate your measurement using the Habermas formula? That which is spherical geometry, right?
Right. This is
I put it in the calculator and it tells me the degree I need to head at. If you want to do it in pencil and paper,
Change the distance. Doesn't change how you got the distance. You're missing the point. It doesn't
Why is that
change. This
necessary?
is complete and utter nonsense.
Why is that necessary, Kool-Aid? For you to translate that actual measurement into some other geometry?
because then the distances are wrong. If you were to
Distances are wrong where? On the map?
Yes. And in real
so
life.
your real world measurement needs to be translated in order for the distances to be correct on your globe
The only
projection
measurement-
map. Is that correct?
No.
What part of it is wrong?
The measurements
telling
need to be
lies, Brandon.
need
Ryan,
to be
hold
taken
on.
out
He's
of
lying, dude. He's lying to us, man.
Guys. Go ahead,
it
Kool-Aid.
needs to be taken out of degrees and into distances.
No. The Habermas formula is for what is it called? Pilots use it, right?
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
for the shortest
It
distance.
is to
between
translate that
2 points.
into a great circle distance, a spherical
No,
geometry
you
value,
don't
correct?
translate things into. You don't translate.
Shut up,
things into a
RC.
great
Shut the
circle
fuck up,
distance.
RC. Go ahead,
No,
Kool-Aid.
you're wrong.
They're
You're
they're
wrong.
right.
Brandon.
I used the wrong word, and I appreciate the correction. The math
Don't be
gets
mad because you're wrong.
no. It was me. who was wrong.
How do you calibrate a water level?
Don't let
Idiot.
them obfuscate away. Just shut up. Go ahead, Kool-Aid.
I would have to pull out the charts and do it by the book because it's
Why
not
does it
something I
need to
do
be
every day.
done? Why are you translating a real world or changing a real world measurement into a
Because it's not
spherical geometry
not-
value?
It's not It's not a real world measurement. The distances you have are not.
When you take with a sextant, isn't a real world measurement?
It's an angle to the star. It's not.
You're
a
measuring an
distance.
angle, correct?
That's it. But you don't get any distance.
You need to go think about this because you're
Yeah,
stepping
yeah,
on your own
yeah,
dick.
You gotta translate it though. That's not true, Brandon. He's making it up as he goes along.
No, Brian, you don't understand here's the point. So they're taking a real world angle. They're taking these measurements in the real world, and then they have to use spherical geometry and change that
language.
real world value using this formula into something that can be used on their spherical map projection. I want to know why that's necessary.
It's not necessary. It doesn't happen, Brandon. He's making it up. That doesn't happen. They don't
you
do
gotta
that.
translate it.
Brandon, it's you know why it's necessary because they live on a sphere. They have to impose their model onto what we understand to be normal distance and angle measurements.
Yeah,
you're right, Travis. I do know why it's
necessary.
necessary. I was hoping Kool-Aid would tell us why it's necessary since he's the one who says that's what he does.
Yeah, but he
Right.
doesn't. He's not looking at it from our perspective. I don't think he's going to be scrutinizing his own model.
And I am failing.
Well, why is he here then? If you are Kool-Aid, let's speak for yourself. Are you here to scrutinize your own model and question your pre-existing notions, or are you here for some other reason?
Yeah, and if they could, if a sextant could be correctly explained to me, that's why I keep talking about boats and sextants, because.
All right, so here it is. You ready?
I'm after hearing him.
Okay. I know, but just real quick, here's the solution. We get Kool-Aid on his boat, and he does his numbers. We get somebody else who's got the freedom to do, and we've got a little race. We get them to go there. The one guy does his sextant, like if it's Brian who's the mariner, he's going to use his sextant without imposing the globe, and Kool-Aid's going to do the same thing.
He can't.
That's the challenge.
Travis. They don't do any of that. They use Flash. They admit it in their official videos, everything.
Right,
They just
okay, but
treat
listen,
it as...
okay, I get
They
that.
don't do all the stuff that he's saying.
I get
this
that.
is him making it up.
Okay.
He would never have
okay.
even gone into that if
Listen.
it hadn't been suggested to him.
Okay, but listen. If you both start out from the same location and race, and you both get to the same destination, then you've got something to answer for, right? How do you both get there if he says that you shouldn't have the right distance?
They're gonna get to the same location because when he does that transcription from the measurement he took using that formula to his spherical map projections, now the two match. Now he knows which direction to go. He knows how long it is because it's matched on the map that he's using supposedly. And Brian, I know you say that they use flat maps. That might be the case. He's saying he does this, okay? And Brian goes out and does the same thing, skips that step, but has a flat map, a correct map. That would require Brian to have a correct non-globe projected map in order to get to the same place. We don't have a good map. That's why he's doing it.
Yeah, and you never will.
We will, actually, Brenda. And the day we do, I'm going to shove it up your ass. I'm going to say,
Cool.
here's the map. Bend over.
So you never will because the Earth is objectively a globe.
What he's trying to say that he's doing is he's making a circle of equal altitude, right? And he's saying he's doing this by cutting a chord through his sphere. Then he's saying he's taking that straight line distance, which is two-dimensional, right? He's placing it onto a three-dimensional, right? But he's actually starting off with the pre-assumption of a three-dimensional sphere. And he's taking a straight line distance that won't work because the diameter points of that circle would be completely different places on the arc that resides within it. Then he's claiming they take that straight line distance that doesn't work on that arc and place it onto a two-dimensional map. It's total and utter nonsense.
No, Brian, his real world measurement will work if he's using the correct map. If he's using a spherical projection map, it won't work. That's why he's using this Haversine formula.
Yeah, but everyone has to use maps. You have to use maps. You have to use maps to find out. You have no choice but to use maps. But his claim, he just says onto a globe map or a spherical map. What globe map? What spherical map? None of them are globe maps. There's no such thing.
Nautical shipping charts are made on a globe, and if you zoom out on the shipping charts,
how are they? They're not made on a globe. They're not made on a globe.
They projected the real measurements onto a globe and then project those back onto a flat surface. It's still spherical math. They're showing it on a flat map. That's my understanding. I could be wrong. That's why they need to use the Haversine formula, because they're dealing with spherical trigonometry.
Okay, so here's my challenge then. Kool-Aid.
They don't do that.
Okay, Kool-Aid. It sounds to me like you have the ability to sail. So my challenge to you would be that if you are seriously interested in scrutinizing your model, use the sextant without imposing the Haversine or whatever the formula is. Just use a sextant straight away, normal, okay?
Right.
Without imposing that, and see what that does. You know what I mean? Like if you had the time to do that, and then come back and show us, okay, look, I actually did this, and here's what it compares to, blah, blah, blah. That would be really interesting if you can do it objectively.
You mean, so what you're suggesting is
what he'll do is take
Hold
a straight
on,
line.
Brian. Hold on.
What you're suggesting is I get
You've been helping him out here a good bit without knowing it. He wouldn't even be talking about any of this if you hadn't suggested it to him.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, now I have to say it to you.
Okay, go ahead.
He didn't know what he was talking about 10 minutes ago.
No, I'm good. This guy obviously wants that mic more than me. So go ahead.
He must talk all the time.
Oh, well, go ahead.
Yeah, you're one to talk.
Go ahead. You can't take a straight line measurement, which you have to take if you're making a circle, two-dimensional circle. It has to be a straight line measurement for thousands of miles. You can't take that and just translate that onto a globe. It doesn't work. If you're putting it onto a map is two-dimensional. It's two-dimensional to two-dimensional.
That's what the Haversine formula is for.
Right.
That's why he said that Haversine formula bit, Brian. I don't know if he's actually doing that. Are you actually doing that, Kool-Aid, or is that something that you just came up with, or someone texted you or something?
No,
Kool-Aid.
Travis mentioned something to him and mentioned something like about that to him, and then he just went, yeah, because he was stuck. He didn't know what he was talking about. He didn't even know what a horizon dip correction was. Anybody who'd know what a sextant is would know what that is. He didn't know.
Not if. Listen, Brian. Listen. That's what I'm saying. They have eliminated that method of triangulation. They don't use it. They have figured out how to mathematically remove it.
Travis, they use it. This is what they use all the time. The circles of equal altitude are always used. They're being used today.
Okay, great. Okay, so what we then need to do then is find another mariner who can come in and corroborate with you and say, yeah, I know what the dip angle is, and I take account for that and blah, 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 and give us a different answer than Kool-Aid. Because right now we're dealing with what Kool-Aid's given us, and we're drinking it. You know what I'm saying?
That's funny.
Didn't give us anything.
I've just put something in the general chat. I've just put something in the general chat, which is basically the conversion. If anyone's got MATLAB or can download a trial, you can put that in, or if anyone can decompile it into another language, it's easy enough to understand, but it gives you both the Haversine. You plug in basically coordinates on a globe, and it will give you the Haversine and Pythagorean distance or Euclidean.
With that good old radius value.
Yeah, you have to have that in there, obviously. And that's what I'm saying. It's on a globe because it's obviously long lat.
Right. That's what Wolfie's always on about. Oh, that's what they're always on about when they talk about pilots planning their flight
oddly
plans.
enough, Wolfie didn't even know about any of this. He doesn't even know about a coordinate transform, basic one. Yeah. Wolfie,
He doesn't.
all the
He
way
doesn't
back.
know about those things.
Yeah, I mean, what do you expect from a pilot? Right?
No, yeah,
You're real low,
exactly. All
Chucky.
he has to do is punch it in an app or something, doesn't he?
There's like
Yeah,
tons of
sure.
online
Technology
calculators.
nowadays, brilliant.
So Kool-Aid, I'm still not completely clear. Kool-Aid, are you saying that when you've claimed to use your sextant when you've been out on the ocean, are you using the Haversine formula? Is that what you personally use to get your coordinate, to get your grid system after you take the after you take the sextant readings?
I didn't realize that's what it was called, but yeah, that's the same formula.
Okay, so you don't see a possible issue with that?
No.
Well, Kool-Aid, how come you didn't mention that earlier? How come there was no mention of that earlier? When I was asking you about the circle of equal altitude, you didn't really seem to know what it was. When I said to you the radius for a circle of equal altitude could easily and often be 2,500 miles, you disagreed with that. You didn't know what the horizon direction was. I don't believe anything you're saying.
Brian, do you ever believe anything anybody says on the ball side?
I'm very, very skeptical of everyone who's aboard. Everyone we deal with, I'm totally skeptical of.
Brian, do you want to hear my answer? The deck of my ship. The deck of my ship was less than a meter off the surface of the Earth. I don't do one on the deck of my ship because you end up dividing.
You always do. It doesn't matter if you're a foot off. It doesn't matter if you're a foot off. If you don't do it, your angle. Yeah, I mean, if you don't do a horizon dip correction, it means your angle will be off, which means that your distances will be off.
And
you don't do that.
But the distance is going to be off by a couple feet.
You didn't know. You
don't care.
know. You don't know how much the distance will be off because you'll be wrong. You didn't know what it was. That's the point.
Less than a meter. Less than a meter.
I don't care what height it is. I don't care what height it is. You're standing on that ship or you're lying down. It doesn't matter. You're not on the water. You have to bring it right back down to the water. Right. Horizon dip correction. The point is you didn't know what it was. That's the problem. I don't believe anything you're saying. You weren't making the argument you're making with the formula either until Travis mentioned it to you. Then suddenly,
we didn't get to the math and actually how to calculate it.
You were talking about a chord line, right?
No, dude.
You're
the only one talking. No one else is allowed to talk. Only you. So I'm going to go ahead and go on mute.
When you start, if you start talking rubbish, I'm going to pull you on it. You were talking about a section.
Brian, man.
Brian, listen. In this server, we try to let people talk as much as possible, even if what they say that comes out of their mouth is bullshit. And just focus on the first thing of bullshit they say, but it gets too crazy. I do it myself. We all get there, but that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get better at that. Yeah.
I'm probably a bit too jumping a bit too fast for what's normal.
No, that's okay. Anyway, so I do have to ask Kool-Aid a couple questions, kind of just to understand the situation better. When you are out there navigating, you're using your sextant, you're at point A, you want to go to point B. What is the typical distance you'll go between readings? Like, okay, I just did my readings. Now I'm going to plot my course. How long is that line going to be? How long am I going to go before I recalculate?
Honestly, if I wasn't in school and I wasn't kind of doing it, maybe 3-4 times a day.
What would that be, like 20, 30 miles, or I have no idea.
Not even, maybe 10, 15 miles.
Okay. Now, the difference between a chord and an arc over 15 miles, Brian, just so you know, on Earth, in their globe conception, is so minimal. It is so tiny, the difference between those two. So I do think it's plausible that you could completely disregard that particular difference and still get to the place. These aren't precision guided missiles that he's calculating for. He's trying to get in the general area when you're navigating out on the ocean. Is that correct, Kool-Aid?
Yeah. And this is also because I'm not very good at it, because it's an antiquated piece of technology. Realistically, I look at my GPS and it tells me where I am to within 2 feet.
Sure. Okay.
What
I mean,
my issue
this
with
is
that is
this
that
is this is something you kind of learn and you know as a backup to the backup to the backup in case something goes wrong.
yeah, my issue with that though, Brandon, is that it wouldn't really matter that much. It's only a small bit, all this kind of stuff. No, he claimed that what was in Mitchell's video was wrong. I asked him about the circle of equal altitude. He wasn't able to give me anything definite on anything. It wasn't until Travis said what he said that he jumped onto that. He didn't know what horizon dip correction was. So how can he say someone else is wrong when he doesn't even know what the thing is himself? Is himself. Like, can I state a mechanic is wrong or fixing a car wrong when I don't even know what he's doing? I can't.
Yes, you can if you go in for a blown engine and he tries to replace the back tire. You can go, "Hey, you're doing something wrong."
Yeah, if he's
Mitchell is
but
way wrong. Dude, okay, here, let's move on to
he's
point
not.
number 2 of his video. Let's
okay,
move on.
What was he wrong about?
Point
Because you didn't know.
number
No, let's stick to the circle of equal altitude because you said he was wrong about that. Well, number 2 is the circle of equal altitude. So tell me, you didn't know what that was. You didn't know what a horizon dip correction was. So you're just one of these people on the globe side, and there seems to be lots of you who come out just like Professor Phil earlier and Brenda, making statements as if you're some kind of expert. But when you're pulled on your supposed knowledge, you don't have it. Because that's what you did.
I explained it all to you. You yelled. You didn't let anyone finish his sentence, just like you're not letting me finish now. So
what you said is you took what you said. Well, me and you were having a conversation, right? And what you said was that you took a chord line through the sphere. A sphere.
No one's had a conversation with you. You've
said
had a monologue.
You said, it's ad hominem time now. You said that you took a section through the sphere, which is a chord line, treating the sphere as a side-on circle and taking a chord through it. Right? And I explained to you how that was the exact same, how, first of all, that doesn't work. Right? For your sphere, it doesn't work for measurements of distances. Secondly, they don't do that. They just treat the Earth as flat. That's what they do. Third, you said they never have a radius of 2,500 miles for a circle of equal altitude. They often have way more than that. You didn't know what a horizon dip correction was. I mean, how can you be stating anyone is wrong when you don't even know all those things?
You want to respond,
the last bit you said,
We'll
because
move on.
you cut off my end, the end of what I was saying there.
I have a question, if it's okay.
Let Kool-Aid respond to what Brian just said if he wants to, and then go for it, Travis.
No, just move on. It's not worth it.
Okay, so
right.
Kool-Aid, I have a question. So I'm trying to understand. So when you talk about taking your transection, okay, and that is you understand now that is the chord of the circumference, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. So am I to understand then that if we're looking at this on a piece of paper, if you're on the right side of the transection, we'll call that A, the other side is B. So the great circle is longer than the chord or the transection. But when you take the angle, you're just calling your angle to the horizon B. Right? So you're treating that like a straight line, which is the transection. Am I right so far?
Yes. So the angle, the horizon sits at the nominal angle 0.
Okay,
and
so
everything counts up from there.
Okay, but in reality, you're not really looking over the curve of the Earth because you can't actually see B. Right?
I don't
Because
care. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Okay, why not?
All I care is that I have a point in the distance I can point at.
Okay, but
In storms and when it's foggy, you no longer even have that point.
yeah,
And
that's
you have to make an artificial horizon, which is a whole nother thing, and there's a whole nother way to do that.
Let's not go down that road. Again,
Uh-huh.
I'm just trying to conceptualize this in my own mind. So please bear with me. I'm sorry if I'm doing anything, derailing or boring anyone. Okay, but again, but hear me out. You can actually see point B. You're looking straight ahead. But if you look at but on paper, if you're looking at your position at A, and then you're seeing B, there is a hump between you and B. You can't actually see B, but you're treating it as if you can. Do you see what?
No, wait, B was the horizon, right? I can see my horizon.
Right, but you're treating the horizon as the
There's
opposite.
no hump between me and the horizon. It's literally what I can see.
Okay, we would agree with you that you're looking in a straight line. So then you cannot, now you cannot affirm that the transection B is the horizon because on paper it's beyond the horizon. Where would you put the horizon on the Sagitta?
I don't.
You would have to put it. You would have to put it somewhere way, way, way closer to you. Do you understand the conflict here?
Yes, I understand. I understand where you're going, and my answer is I wouldn't. I don't know enough about how optics work, and I've heard this argued to death. I know what the black swan is.
No, sir. I am not. Don't strawman this. I'm trying to establish the fact that your point B on your transection would have to be massively closer to you on the Sagitta because you're not actually looking that distance in reality for you because you can't see that far. Does anybody else follow with what I'm saying?
No, because I can see my horizon.
I have no idea
That's why
what
it's
the fuck
my
you just
horizon.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah, I can see my
I
horizon.
know exactly
That's
what
why
you're
it's
saying,
called my
Travis.
horizon.
I follow Travis. I do.
No, you
I'm
didn't.
joking, man. Sorry, I tuned out.
Shout out to Aaron.
Hey,
I don't
can we
believe
go
it.
back to-
Make him repeat
can we
it,
back to-
Travis. Aaron, repeat what he said. That's what I thought.
Your distance from point B would be greater under the Sagitta if you drew a chord because you can't actually see all the way to the fucking point C that you're trying to use as a calculation for this angle.
Oh, but Travis, you do understand that Sagittarius difference for those distances he's going, 15 miles or 20 miles, is like nothing. The difference between the chord and the Sagittarius.
But within angles, Brandon, it is something. Go ahead, Travis.
But that's the great scale negator. Again, we now have another variable in the great scale negator because you even said the difference is so minimal, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking matter.
I know. Yeah, there's no falsification. That's all I'm saying is
matter.
it's a weak falsification point. There's just nothing. They have plausible deniability in this in a few different ways.
No,
What
they
Travis is kind of
don't have
getting at
Brandon.
is it's
They
so
don't
minimal that you could call it flat, right? I mean,
No.
at all fucking
Let
effort,
me-
It's
at all
very,
effort,
very
you
flat.
could consider it flat. That's right.
There's a great point that you have paused on
The
your screen
Earth
right now,
is
Brandon.
very flat.
In this video, he's got the stars as a flat plane, which would cause them to move away from you and obscure, but that's not what we see, and he knows that's not what we see. What he shows is the dome. If you
The
back up the
sextant
video,
can't work. The sextant can't work if the sky is curved. The
That's
whole
just
point
wrong,
of the
Brian.
sextant working. The whole point of the sextant working is that the Earth and the sky are flat planes that parallel to each other.
That's wrong, Brian. It's just
Well,
not
let's
how it
remember
works.
that we're not measuring the Euclidean geometry of the world. We're measuring the optical perspective-based view that we have, which is all we can see.
Right.
So the sextant just gives you your latitude.
Sorry, Brandon, you didn't watch our talk about it earlier.
Can I
The
finish
sextants-
before Brian?
the sextants
Brian
gives
and
you your
Brendan start
latitude.
measuring again.
If your A right? And the other side of the circle of equal altitude is B, right? And you think you're running a chord through a sphere. For a start, how do you run a chord through a sphere when you're taking your angle off the surface? Right? That's impossible, number one. Number two, you can't take an angle off the surface because your angle is going off out into outer space if you're using a sphere. Number three is the zenith of that celestial body and your zenith have to be parallel to each other. That's how it works.
No.
But they're not going to be parallel on a sphere. They'll be diverging. It doesn't work any other way.
So the sextant
B
only works
will
on a
not
sphere,
be-
Brian.
B will
Can I-
not be where you think it is.
Can
It
I
can't be
finish,
where you place
or
it on the
when-
sphere because it's a
Brian's done with
straight
his
line
monologue?
distance. It's a straight line distance. And so your distance, if your distance is 600 miles of a diameter, right? That's not going. When you place that onto your 3D sphere, that 2D circle of equal altitude, the arc that resides within it is about 800 or 900 miles. So that means that you're already, with your first circle of equal altitude, you're already 200 or 300 miles out.
Yeah, Brian,
Before you
but
even do a
nobody's
second
using a
one.
sextant to go 600 miles at a time.
They
Well,
do,
Brandon,
Brandon.
shout
That's
out
what they
Issa-
do.
Shout out
do
Issa
that.
Mahalski. Yeah. All nautical, what would you call that? Navigation is considered as 600 square miles flat.
I understand that. I get all those contradictions and doublespeak that we're all aware of. But what I'm saying is, this is the point I brought up twice already, is that he's going 15, 20 miles. The difference between the Sagittarius and the chord is, I'm telling, it's like fucking an inch or something over that
I get
distance.
you. Yeah. It's not.
Brandon, we're speaking
So
about the circle
that's
of
if he
equal
was going
altitude.
600
We're not
miles
speaking
at
about
one
what
time,
he's
it would
specifically
be significant. It would be at that distance, but I don't think anybody's using a sextant to go 600 miles at once.
Why not? Well, how
Brandon,
far do you
that's
think
how-
they went,
that's how it
Brandon?
works.
Like, do you think they went 10 miles at once and had to stop and check it again and then go 10 miles, check it? Or did they
Yeah.
actually?
That's exactly what you
Yeah,
did.
something like
exactly
that.
No,
Yeah.
Brandon, that's not how it
No.
works. So,
Seems
Well,
Well,
like
that's what
no
this guy
shit
that
would
we're
ever get
talking
done.
to is telling us that he's doing. So
Oh, okay.
no, Brandon. So, Brandon, you could have one circle of equal altitude that could have a diameter of 8,000 miles. You could have a second one that has a diameter of 6,000 miles, and a third one with a diameter of 10,000 miles. Right? And where those three intersect, it will be that will triangulate where your position is. Right? You obviously have to use the almanac to find out exactly where the star is over, or whatever, your three stars are over. But that's how big of a distance you have to pre-assume is flat. That's why it's plain sailing. You have to pre-assume the Earth to be flat. That's how it works.
But
No.
you don't know what a circle of
The
equal
only
altitude
way
is,
it works.
Brian.
That's the only way it works.
Can would you mind backing up the video a little bit and show those two spheres over the boats again, or better yet, the boat sailing along with the sphere moving? Yeah.
this one right here.
Yeah. So if you put your hand over the top, this makes complete sense. The boat is sailing along, and as it sails, different stars come into view as it translates between the hemispheres, transforms between the hemispheres, whatever you want to call it. Where this video breaks down is suddenly that thing that's on top just looks like a sphere, because the only way a sextant works is on a sphere.
No, it doesn't work on
No,
a
but
sphere.
that is what we're measuring when we're out there. That's what I was saying. We are measuring what we see in the world. It's optical. So they could be like this, and they'll look something like this. You'll have a perspective view of these stars.
Because
that's what you're
we
measuring.
see.
You're measuring your perspective view, not the Euclidean view.
Brandon,
That's
do
what
you
we
know how
see
to
in
get?
reality.
Do you know
We
how to
don't
get the
see-
radius distance?
Hold on.
What?
Before we get back to radius distances, which one do you see when you go outside? Put your hand over the bottom half of your screen. Do you see that? Now put your hand over the top half. Or do you see that? Which one do you see?
You don't see either of these, in my opinion.
Either, yeah. You just look up and see a bunch of lights in the sky.
But Kool-Aid, we're talking about the perspective view versus like a zoomed out view. Like maybe an example, if you're in a car when you're in the car, things are going to look like they're flying by, you know, in the windows or whatever. But if you were to zoom out, you know, 1,000 feet above the car, it's just going to look like a little car driving along the road. So there's a difference to being
That's
in the
excellent.
car, in your perspective, and what you see versus, you know, some kind of zoomed out viewpoint.
Yeah, that's excellent. That's excellent. The Earth is actually rotating, not the sky.
No.
I don't know how you
Brandon,
got that, Brando, but
It's relative.
Brandon, if you
Travis, your
take
mic
an
is
angle,
open. Travis, your mic is open.
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting to get in.
if you
Okay.
take an angle to,
Honk
if you
the
take
horn,
an angle
Travis.
to a star, Brandon, if you take an angle to a star, right, and that angle is, let's just say that angle is 47 degrees, right, to this to the star, right? Then what is 47 from 90? So 90 minus 47 equals 43. So that's 43, right, degrees. Now multiply. I'm going to use statute miles. Multiplied by 69 miles equals 2,967. That means that there's 2,967 straight line miles between your position and the ground position of the star. So that is your radius. So if we double that, double by 2, we'll have 5,934 miles of a diameter.
if you
So
were
if
to
you're
turn
seeing a
around and
star
put it
that's 47 degrees above the horizon, then that means your diameter for the circle of equal altitude of that star will be 5,934 miles. That's what you have to presume is straight line flat. That's just for the first circle, not the second or third. You have to do the same.
Brian, I might have a bad question, but I
No,
thought they always took
but
the
here's-
they took
here's
the
the-
same measurement off
here's
the
what you do in reality.
because that's the one that didn't move. Is that true or not? I don't know.
Hold on. Here's what you do in reality.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
What you do in
So,
reality
Brian,
is you
I
use
just
a
had a quick
transecting
question.
method.
I thought they always took a sextant measurement.
He was
off the North
talking.
Star,
Why
at
are you
least from the
talking
north.
over him?
Well, because I was
No. Aaron
I was
started
addressing
talking
Brian.
first. Aaron started talking first.
Aaron started talking first. Sorry, Aaron.
Yeah, so Brian, I just had a question. Maybe you guys covered this, and you can just fill me in real quick. I always thought that they took this is what I thought. They took the sextant measurement off the North Star, something that didn't move, right? And but you're talking about now they use other lights.
What that is baseline, right? So they learned how much an angle would be using the pole star as a baseline. So they knew that certain angles to the pole star, let's just say they knew that if they were 20 degrees away from the pole star, right, that they'd have a 70-degree angle to it. And they knew that they've basically, the pole star was the baseline for them figuring out like how many miles per degree. That was the baseline. So now they know like after that time, they obviously found out that all the other stars, the only difference is that you're moving away from the pole star, which makes it appear to drop in the sky, as opposed to other stars which are moving. They're moving away from you, but it works exactly the same.
Only if you're traveling longitudinally, you'd be moving away from that star. Only if you're doing that, right?
Yeah, but that was just a baseline for measurement, if you understand what I mean. That's how they work as a baseline.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries.
And as you sail, you see the stars move over you in a sphere, just like the one depicted. Only the problem is we know we're not going flat, and we don't have a personal dome over each ship because the domes would smack into each other. So
Well, that's the other nonsense.
So just real quick again, I'm gonna take issue, Kool-Aid, and I just want to address you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take issue with the statement that you've made and that others have made that a sextant on a globe. So the problem with that is that the way that you Kool-Aid begin to use a sextant is the way that Brian sextant. What changes is when you bring in your formula for bringing in the curve.
he actually uses the exact same formula.
Okay. Okay,
just
so
understands it differently.
okay, so again, this goes back to a very simple way to demonstrate that sextant will work on both models when you have someone who will use the sextant as a flat earther and a sextant like you would. And then you have one location that you both are going to go to, and if you both get there, then your claim that a sextant only works on a globe is going to be falsified.
Why don't they use sextants on land, Travis?
Okay, wait, hold on.
You
Kool-Aid.
can. You
Oh,
can.
hold on, please. Kool-Aid, would you agree with what my challenge is? Would you agree that if someone did not take into account the Habersham or whatever the hell that formula is, and they got to the same location as you, that would falsify your claim that a sextant only works on a globe? Kool-Aid, hello?
Yes. Sorry, I was thinking about your offer. Yes, if they used none of the math that we know that makes sextant work, then
Okay.
yes.
Okay, now listen, again, just real quick. That should be a very simple endeavor because we're not talking about sailing around the world in 80 days. Let's just pick a location and go.
Yeah, great.
All you are doing, all
Just-
you're
oh, sorry,
doing with the sextant is charting the relationship between distance and the declination of the different stars in regards to the horizon, your position. It's it's a predictable pattern that has been charted and notated. We know if it's on this position on the horizon, this star, this time, and you move this far, it'll move this much, just like we know every 69 miles, Polaris moves 10 degrees, right?
In a cycle, right? They had those predictive charts that came with the sextant, right, Brendan? I'm just guessing. Because
they have charts.
Some dude
Yeah.
that didn't know anything about the stars wouldn't go out there and be like, well, I'm going to point it up at the star and be like, I know where I'm at. No. He had to refer to some charts that were already previously written, from a long time ago.
Well, if you
but
just
you
want
could
to travel
figure it
to the
out
ag-
eventually and assume that we're on a flat plane and it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
But it
It's a
does
pattern.
because
Right.
this
It's a cause and effect relationship.
These are the measurements they use to make the maps. The maps that we know are accurate, but are only accurate in 3D space when they're on a globe.
What do you mean? Yeah. That's not the measurements they use. They add
it is.
in. They
This is
add
the-
in.
no,
like
this
Travis
is
talking about.
no.
They have to
Hold
add
on.
in the Heisenberg fucking potential
But
to
these
get a curve, even though they don't need it at that time, right?
Aaron.
Because, like Brandon said, the Sagittarius is so small, you don't actually need it, but they still add it in, and that's what has become the propaganda for a curve.
What is the coordinate system on your maps? What one are you talking about?
What are the coordinate systems?
Can we test this coordinate system?
Sure.
Brandon, 69 miles for 1 degree, but I know you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, 690. Yeah, thank you.
So, yeah, what coordinate system is on these maps? These nautical
And who
maps.
even knows when Haber come up with that transform? What were they? Were they using the Earth as a globe then? That's part of the argument.
No, they actually. That's why when you look back through the history of sextants, which is a whole subdivision, it gets really cool and it
Yeah,
goes
they were
into
treating
the
the Earth as flat
astrolab.
back then.
No, they actually
I
weren't.
guess that's kind of a clue of when, when the transition.
Hold on.
That's probably a clue of when they started developing globes and shit. When
That's
Haber come up with the sign transform or whatever you fuck you want to call it.
That's not correct. And we know that because we have the surviving Bronze Age technology, including the astrolabs, that with the gradients, depending on what latitude you were at on the Earth, that had a
Bro,
change.
you're just quoting shit that you fucking read. On this channel, we're trying to figure shit out for ourselves.
Yep.
Could you tell me what the coordinate system is on the charts he's using, please?
The coordinates on what chart?
You said you have maps. You said these maps. You said the maps are all globe maps. So what's the coordinate system on your maps?
Did you post those maps yet, Kool-Aid?
Yes, I've sent you one.
Okay.
You're talking the old one?
Yeah. So you DM'd me. I'm driving, so I haven't looked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay, thank you.
sent it to you.
Okay.
The one I sent you is a replica, but less mold that way. Yeah, but like you said, Brandon, we can check this. We'll use the maps that are accurate and work, and you use which map do we use?
Excuse me, I'm after asking you several times to give me the coordinate system of these maps you're speaking about. And 3 or 4 times you go, oh yeah, and you don't give me any answer to it. Why
You
is
want
that?
the coordinate system?
What are you use on the maps? I want the coordinate system to use on the maps.
I don't remember the abbreviation. Give me 1 second.
Just describe it. Describe what it is. What it looks like.
We use a 10-digit grid coordinate.
So you're using a grid coordinate. Yeah, grid. You're using grid?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Grid is flat out only. Do you understand that?
No.
No, there is no grid. Grids can't work on a sphere because you can't have a grid.
Why
on
not?
a sphere. You can't have a 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional grid on a sphere.
Yeah, you can tile a sphere with grids.
The dimensions of each square won't be equal.
It tiles the sphere, no problem.
How many angles
No,
does each of these little grids come to, Brenda? When you tile it, the one you wrapped around the sphere.
An infinite number.
Infinite number of angles inside a square, inside a grid. Okay.
How do you keep all the tiles the same dimension on a sphere?
Disco sphere.
I don't. If you want to get into the history of nautical,
I know.
Every grid on our Earth are the same size. No one ever says each grid square on the Earth is the same size.
You
never say that.
So but that's because grid maps don't work on spheres. They only work on flat.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't work on spheres because you can't keep the dimensions of the tiles the same.
No, because no one said each square were the same size.
I don't care what you said about what no one said. I don't give a damn about that. You're making a claim that grid maps work on spheres.
You're creating a straw man.
How about on a spheroid?
No, I'm pointing out truth. You can't have a grid map on a sphere. It doesn't work.
Look, here's one right here.
How do you adjust your grid for the oblateness?
Look, see those squares?
Look at your globe. There's a thing on the latitude longitude grid, right? That is not even. That is not even equal.
It's still a grid.
Grid maps don't work on spheres.
It's still a grid.
You hear me, Brenda? The surface of a sphere is non-developable. You got to use transforms and shit. You can't just fucking. You got to use math. Brian is absolutely correct. The surface of a sphere is non-developable.
Well, Brenda just brought up, I think about an hour ago, 2 + 2 is always fucking 4. It's always 4. Okay, so Brenda, what are the internal angles of a square 1, 1, and 1, and 1? What are the angles?
Jesus Christ. It's kind of a dumb question.
Now wrap that on a fucking sphere.
No, math has to be used. Brian is absolutely correct. You have to use math.
It's a spherical quadrilateral. It's a spherical quadrilateral.
It's stretchy, bendy, and shrinkable. Let's do it.
It's awesome. We live on a ball, everybody.
I can prove it.
Disco sphere.
I'm sorry, that's kind of a
I
sad
can
thing.
prove it.
You ballers, man. When you guys, I would love it when one of you wakes up. It was just going to be the most glorious day.
I would love for you guys to finally make a creative model that we can look at, and then you guys
shut
can
the
prove it
fuck up, B-Brick. Shut the fuck up.
What are you going to do with it? Make a mistake like what you just did with that last one?
Did y'all see B-Ball's, you mean the one that you showed where the sun was like 35 degrees above the horizon, and then you showed us another one where the sun was going below the horizon? That was a good one.
When you're God, you God now looking down on Earth. See it all at the same time, can you? God complex coming out in you there, people.
This one right here, yeah, where you think the sun
Yeah.
is below
Are
the
you
horizon.
God? Look at the perspective. That's looking down on all of Earth. You
Is
can
the
see
sun
all of
below the
Earth there.
horizon?
Yeah,
You see
it
the
is
picture I
below the
posted?
horizon.
Really?
That is the same. That is from the same video that you just watched the horizon set on. It's the same model.
So why is it that every other flat earther says this model is a straw man? Yet you're using it as reality.
Every other flat earther. Did you just hear what you just said there?
Yes.
Every other
Yes,
flat
every
earther, when
flat
it's a flat earther that
Does
made
anyone
it
else
from
agree
FE
with
Core,
this model right here? Does anyone agree with this model?
no one has disagreed or agreed. They said they haven't looked into it a lot.
Oh, so
You've heard that
when we
before.
post models like this, then we can use it as fact, right?
No, look, you said there wasn't any model. I showed you a model, and
so
there is a
when we
model.
post this model,
Yeah.
it's fact.
And
Is it
not
fact?
understand it. No, it's not fact. No model's a fact.
Okay,
Come on,
so
don't
we
be
can throw
stupid.
this away then because it doesn't work.
You can throw it away because you're a globe earther, yes, but it's a flat earther that
well,
done the
it doesn't
model.
work. You agree, right? You agree
I'm
it doesn't
gonna
work.
throw it away because it doesn't
Yet you're
agree with.
presenting it.
Well, we can throw it away and say it doesn't work, but it's based on
Okay,
NASA
so you-
JPL
so then you
data.
shouldn't post it
Yeah,
anymore.
it's
So you
based on
shouldn't
NASA
bring it up
JPL
anymore,
data,
right?
so we're throwing away NASA JPL data now. That's what it's based on. That's what it's based on.
Because it breaks.
Doesn't
Based
break
on
at
the
all.
concept of models, and if you're telling us to throw away this one, how come we can't throw away yours?
So we can't
We're
use
based on the
Steven
basics of models.
This is based on yours.
Present how the globe model doesn't work.
Gleam, can we use Stephen Torrance models anymore?
What the hell? What are you talking about, people? You're panicking, mate.
Are you going to use Stephen Torrance's model as
Yes,
proof?
every time someone says no one has created a flat Earth model.
Awesome. So now you can't
Yes.
call when we bring it up. You can't
Is
call it
that
a
a
straw
flat
man,
earther
right?
that's created a model? Did you say that one didn't?
Oh, but you're
And
presenting
you
it as-
lied, basically, yeah? And
You're
that proves that
presenting it
you're
as-
lying.
No, you presented this as
You
fact.
lies all
So
the time, dude.
When we post
Yeah.
when we post little
I
gifs
presented this
of
because
the
you said
flat
no
Earth
one's done it.
sun
And they
going
have.
around
You and Brenda were saying no one has done this. And they have. You lied.
I've brought it to their attention several times, dude. I've showed them this model. I've
Okay,
presented
does
it.
the-
I've
yeah,
had
does the-
people specifically ask me about where'd you put it, and went and looked at it, and then will still claim that there's no.
Wait there,
he's a,
wait
he's
there,
a
Brian.
fucking rotten liar, dude. And he don't even know it.
Beeble, does
Okay.
the globe Earth
Can
model
we use
work
this
when
model?
it's 95% dark matter
can
and
we
dark energy?
We're not talking about dark matter and dark energy. We're talking about this model.
Yeah,
that
we
you
are, because
presented,
we're
right?
talking about models working, aren't
Now
we?
you want to change the subject. You want to go to dark matter.
Yeah, no,
Well,
I'm
he
proving
likes
that
to
not all
pretend
models
that he
work
knows
all
a
the
lot.
time. They
He
work
likes
to
to
a
pretend.
specific extent. Relativity
Gleam-
only works to a specific
yeah.
extent.
Gleam
that
the
Why are you
presenting
butting
this
in? Are you
model-
white knighting him? Do you need to white knight him in? Is he scared of me or what? I don't know. Are you scared of
presented
me?
This model, Stephen Torrance's model.
Yes, because
as
you
the
said it
flat
didn't
Earth
exist, and it does
model.
exist.
Does
That's a
everyone else
lie.
on the panel agree with the Stephen Torrance model? That's all I'm trying to figure out.
Okay,
already did
let's.
this
I'll
earlier.
go quiet. I'll go quiet. But yeah,
Under
you
that-
didn't obviously
Brian,
hear earlier. Everyone said we
Brandon,
haven't had
do you
time
agree
to
with
look at
Stephen
it.
Torrance model?
It's reality, B-ball. You don't agree with it or disagree. It's fucking reality.
All right,
Map.
so Brian agrees with the Stephen Torrance model. Does anyone else agree with the Stephen Torrance model?
Haven't looked at it enough.
How do you disagree or agree with real world data?
Because
Yeah,
every time we show this model, you guys
It is. It's NASA JPL data just projected on a flat surface. For God's sake, it's like a map projection, but a model projection. For God's sake, you're dim.
I don't even understand that, dude. He's fucking
Oh,
dense, people.
what I'd really love to ask the ballers is it impossible for someone to mathematically in CGI create a new world that's complete fantasy and it work? Yeah,
the reason
and match
why-
reality. Wait there, and match reality, and it still
And
be
match
a globe.
reality? No,
Yeah,
and match reality?
Yeah, and match reality.
And
yes.
be a globe? Yes.
Gleam.
Yes, so in
problem
the
with this
computer,
model-
in the computer model, it's a
let me just- I
complete
gotta-
flat
I gotta go.
Earth, which is in your eyes a fantasy. But can it still work and it be a globe at the same time? Or does your
Can-
belief
can a
system
flat
not allow a
Earth
model
model-
to work in the CGI computer?
You have the
Yeah,
sun.
and it be a globe?
Glenn, look at the position of the sun and
I've
the
looked at
position
it
of the
way more than you, my brother. You're just faffing now.
look at the angle that we're looking at the sun.
I am. I've
How
calculated.
is it that the horizon is blocking the sun?
Because you are limited to the amount of surface of the Earth you can see. You cannot see all of the Earth like you can in that God point of view that you're saying. Oh, this is
People, go to your sun count right now and tell me where my fucking sun is, like you're real famous at doing. Wait, tell me how my sun here sits on the horizon for about an hour, hour and a half. Tell me how it doesn't get dark till about 9:30. Okay, so you're trying to you're leaving out
That
the
doesn't
flaws
happen,
in your
Brian.
model.
That
Well,
doesn't
that makes
happen,
you a
Brian.
fucking piece of shit liar. Okay,
The horizon needs to be geometric to be blocking
if you
anything.
want, you and I can have a one-on-one, and I can show you that our model
You can
works.
show me what you see on a computer screen, dude. Listen to me.
And
Listen.
then I can show you that it matches reality.
He can't listen. Okay, so now the flaw in your
You even-
model is 15 degrees down, okay? Which 15 degrees on each side. That's 30 degrees of our 180 degree sky, which is flawed. You never bring up the flaws in your model.
Brian, you even posted a picture of someone pointing at the sun, which matched sun calc. Do you realize that you did that?
Guess what? I got a
No,
video I'm
he
about to
doesn't
post.
realize he did that.
Hold on. I got a video I'm about to post. Sorry about that. I got a video I'm about to post with a protractor sitting right there where I laid my phone down to show you fucking lying sacks of shit that it ain't 43 or 45 degrees. Look for it in about an hour, people. Hour and a half. Would you like to bet $1,000?
The
I'll
angle
do it
wasn't.
right now. I got a protractor in my hand right now, and we'll do it live.
I guarantee that the sun. I mean, hold on.
So bet me $100. Bet me something payable. Bet me $100.
Get a level with you.
I got a level. I'll go get my level. I got a protractor.
Level, protractor, yeah, and some shadow. Let's see.
Yeah, but he's going to measure a different photograph.
I've already done it and made a video. I'm just got to post it.
He's
live,
measuring
we will
a
see it
different
live. Hold on, we will
photograph.
see it live. Why argue? We'll see it live.
You know what the name of the video is? Just for the retards. That's the name of the video. Look for it in about an hour.
Good.
You're
I
measuring
got a
a
string
different.
line. Okay, look, I take a lead block and I throw it up on the roof attached to a string line.
Hey, Brian.
I'll show y'all fucking retards what 45 degrees is. I'll show you the video
Brian,
location of my last video of my house. I've got a tape measure. I pull it off my house and show y'all 10 fucking feet.
No need.
All
Brian,
right, we'll look for it, Brian.
Make sure to not miss it, please.
All
It's
we
called
need
Just
is
for the
shadow.
Retard.
All we
Brenda
need
will
is
take that
shadow.
bet.
I
Brenda will
guarantee
take that
right
bet. She
now.
just might not pay you off.
And speaking of retards,
So hold on.
Jose
Carmen
fucking-
Ganja, were you trying to say something?
Yeah. I said Brenda will take that bet. She just might not pay you when she loses.
I
Shout
don't
out
care
Chris
how
Berry.
hold it over her head. It's simple shit. All you do is take a protractor and a string. But check this out. Jose kicks me off. Look, I've been calling the idiots retards, not all of them, but on his stream, giving them content and coming on and debate with them for 2 years. You want to get rid of Brian? Just say the word retard is bad language. Okay, he bans me for saying retard.
is.
Listen, hold on, Brandon. Hold on. Now listen to the fucking intro of his video. It's got retard in it. And the fucking intro of his very show. And this sack of shit fucking boots me for saying retard or typing fucking retard like it's a bad word. He knew how to get rid of me. My wife said, I can't believe they let you on the show. You make me look stupid so much.
Well, this video will probably get flagged automatically by YouTube for that.
You what?
No, I think they're going to flag it just for you.
What?
They have automatic AIs that patrol.
Hey Brian, I bet you $100 that your sun is 1.5 degrees above the horizon right now.
I'm not even outside. Dude, it gets you right.
Probably done.
All you're doing is looking at a screen. You do realize that, though, people. It might be, man. It's sitting on the horizon. I can't see it through the tree. You might be right. You might be right for once, people.
I know I'm right.
People, you say you know you're right by looking at a fucking computer screen when I'm here looking at the fucking sun. That makes you a fucking retard.
You just said you couldn't see it. Now you're saying you can see it?
I say it's got to be on the horizon. It's under the trees.
You just said you can see it. Oh, okay. Right, got it.
You know what a general estimate is, right? So look, if I look straight up, that's 90 degrees. Okay? So just take that and cut it in half. And you got, wait, hold on. This sun ain't no 1.5 degrees. Hold on. Walking down the road. I'll do a video on that. But yeah, we will have a discussion.
That's not
on that. But
accurate,
listen,
though, Brian. Those aren't accurate. Those aren't measurements. That's just bullshit.
Yeah, the sun's about 5 degrees, man.
Well, you're judging off your eyesight, which is probably not a good idea.
Use your fingers, Brian.
Yeah, point at it. Point at it and take a screenshot.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right, guys, it's about time to wrap up the YouTube show 756. Thank you very much to the panel for joining. I think we had close to 40 people at one point we have 43 right now in the YouTube chat, and it was not a complete shit show. Not too bad for 43 people. Thank you very much for joining. Really appreciate it. Shout out to Adam Meekin and Dan the Waterman for supporting the show with super chats. Thank you very much. Shout out to the mods. Nice job. Same with the mods on YouTube. Thank you very much. And we will be back Monday. I will be recording in the server tonight, and the recording does often run all night, so just be aware of that. And there's usually mods or two and some people in here having a conversation. So we'll talk to you in a little while. And thanks again, guys. Anybody that didn't get to speak during the show too much or has something burning they got to get out, want to say something before we close the YouTube show?
Hey, people wanted to know if
Brandon, can I say something?
Yeah.
Level is horizontal.
We know.
Have a great weekend.
I have some final things to say here. Shout out to Flat Earth itself for bringing everybody together to do some critical thinking, some debating skills. Shout out to Flat Earth for giving people opportunity to make money, make a living and a lifestyle off of debating. Thanks to Flat Earth for exposing double speak. All in all, shout out to Flat Earth in general.
I'd like to shout out me just for being me.
Thanks for all the free laughs. It's just great.
That's right, Brenda. The shoe is a phenomenon, right?
So we're getting popping in here 24/7 now. Come fuck with us. As far as exposing the double speaking Globers, go check QE's numpty clips. We got Brenda on there in the last one, I think.
Oh, is he gonna add himself with the Bob and Alice shit?
It was beautiful. Go fuck with the numpty clips. Come fuck with us right here. Peace.
You wanted to talk to me about that, Jeremy.
Ganja, did you have something you were going to say too?
Yeah, I was going to say a shout out to Gleam for using
You
the
wanted to
Steve
talk to me
Torrance
about
model.
that, Jeremy.
For using the Steve Torrance model to just make the Glover spiral. It's been very enjoyable. Cheers, Gleam.
Nice one. I'd just like to thank you as well for farming ganja, full stop. And also thank all the Globers for all the lies that you've told tonight, because you're keeping the fire burning and keeping the movement growing. Well done, you lot. Biggest flat earth recruitment unit I've seen.
It's hilarious.
All right. Thanks, guys. I'm going to close it up now. I'll
It's
be back.
hilarious.
Thanks again.
Can I come up? Hey, Brandon.
All right. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thanks for listening tonight. And we'll be back on Monday. Thank you, Askin. Yeah, what was a pretty good show. Not too bad. Not too bad. Good night, Ian. Good night, everybody. Have a good one. Thanks again. Talk to you later.
understand.